have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY?
I've had several phone calls with the person who goes by the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I don't actually know his real name.
And unfortunately, every time I make a call, it becomes content for the media.
Help! I've been tossed overboard.
I'll have to bill you extra for my time.
Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished. How does one even shop for a suit when your head is...
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand, purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming, every step I take, they know a boss is coming.
Blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds, yo.
Is that a poppy seed? You realize I'm your P.O., right? Straight to booking!
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yeah!
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man.
Thought your lies were solid. To the cracks, let daylight in. Thought you were ballin'. Till the pay piggy stopped hitting sin. You thought everyone was sleeping while you creeping that stash. Figured you was solid in those wallets skimming that cash. 56,000 dropped by one donor. And when asked, you said me, I'm the owner. That's fraud. You ain't fit for Denny's, man, drive through. Whole timelines clocking your crew. Receipts on deck, let's count the ways. A bench, a barn, a fence, a verbal maze. You pretend to help like you're right, but all you do is out of spite. Now the world sees you and you're stressing. All those blue lights got you guessing. No, not all monsters are fairy tales. Some set online broadcasting fails, and that's you. One day soon, no more pretend. And when it does, the thieving ends, hopefully behind bars. You broadcast good deeds for the clout and the likes, but that umbrella guy pulled up with the mic and the spikes. Means hitting harder than your fake ass fence. Every donor screenshot got you playing defense. You said better life for the kid, straight face, no shame. Now the kid's still waiting and you still in the game. Timeline flip, pitchforks in the chat. You stressing in the DMs, deleting this and that. And he's drive through, too rich for your kind. Now you're running from the comments, losing your mind. You thought the internet would forget? Now we got receipts. Every dollar you fame, circulating faster than your shame. You stole from the kind, from the ones who believe. Now karma got heavy bass and she's about to leave. No more pretend, the thieving gotta end, behind bars or broke. Either way you descend, now the whole world knows. Daylight in, hey Biggie, stop sinning. That umbrella guy.
What's up, folks? How's it going? Welcome to a very impromptu Friday. I did not think we would be doing a live stream. In fact, I set up really late, and it doesn't look like we got out very many. Let me make sure I set this up right. And I did not. I'm always like, man, did I say that? No, I did not. Let people know we are live. I did not set up the thing right. Of course not. I walked in at like 5:30 and I thought, man, do I want to have a live stream? Well, there's nobody else here. And yeah, there's some pretty amazing stuff that happened. In fact, today we had something that, so if you missed out yesterday, apparently 2L and the gang are talking about putting a PayPal pool together so they can fund a lawsuit, which is fun because they've been showcased certain lawsuits that they had Miltos point out a lawsuit and was like, check this out. This is just like what you need to go. Well, guess what? The lawsuit they pointed at, yeah, it came back as fair use. Oh my God, it's so good. So we're going to look at some of the things that are quoted in there. And my favorite part, by the way, in the fair use discussion, and this is one that I want you to really grab onto, because this is a very important thing about fair use. Quote, fair use inquiry does not ask whether criticism or parody of copyrighted work is just or accurate or mean-spirited, but simply whether the use of that kind of copyright is designed to protect. That means you don't have to be nice about things. You are not, as I've said a million times, you are not obligated to nicety. Not on the best of occasions. As a U.S. citizen, I don't have to be fucking nice to you. You know, nicety begats nicety. These people, they have never earned that. They earn my contempt. You know, if someone wants to call me a groomer and other horrible things, they want to talk about kids and more. Oh yeah, they earn my contempt. I kept thinking about today too. I was like, you mean to tell me that these morons really want to step into the ring legally after they just a couple of days ago, they actually showcased the paint chips video. You know, the video that's in a lawsuit right now, you know, the video that, yeah. Can you imagine sitting there and saying, these people, they're being mean to me. And then somebody showcases your stream back where you play that. And then on top of it, they show it later where you blurred it. You still kept it in because you want to have that big middle finger to somebody, but you blurred it there because you know it's a big no-no. Wouldn't that be interesting? You know, I'm sure a female jury would love that. I'm sure they would be like, you know, but Megan, I'm sure that'll go over beautifully. Oh my God. But we'll look at that. And also, so Lips has been dumping files under a fake couple of names. She is back to sock puppet account use. And through that, she has dumped an amazing amount of false complaints about Randy, Jeremy, and more. And what's crazy is if you go through some of these and you start looking at timestamps and more, they're very incorrect. She will, to get a quote, for example, in something, to make it try to fit her narrative, she'll actually cut off a quote in the middle of a sentence or at the beginning of a sentence. It's so wild. I mean, she, for example, in one of the complaints that she does, she says that Hales stated that he had raised, or that a cost rather had been around $1 million. And if you go in, she cuts to a certain point where if you click into her link, it starts with him saying million. But if you rewind 5 seconds, he says $500,000. It's so deceptive and crazy. And she's on a crazy tear that, again, once all of that, so, she's out there giving advice to these people on, oh yeah, you should sue. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, again, like I said, the feds, if they want to roll, that's fine. But come for them. Again, remember, they want to whine about copyright. Well, first of all, they're not going to win a copyright. Let's look at this. Okay. Now, if you haven't heard about this, the background of this lawsuit, it's very interesting. Actually, this is a brand new fair use lawsuit. It came from Ethan Klein. You know, the guy we talked about before with, in fact, they quote Ethan Klein, 2L in the gang. They quote him in their breakdowns. They didn't learn anything from his case, mind you. But I hope they understand, by the way, that a case like that, they're talking about PayPal pulling. Oh, yeah. You go out and you actually get an actual lawyer, a non-contested lawsuit like that. You talking about $30,000. A contested, nasty lawsuit that goes all the way to trial, you're talking about $100,000. There ain't no way you can cover that. They don't have people that will give that kind of money anymore. They did it one time. But, they set them on fire. Now, as far as this complaint here, this complaint was about the plaintiff bringing following claims. He brought a direct copyright infringement against the person here. It's Ethan Klein versus Denims, and contributory copyright infringement against a bunch of mods as well. Now, you've seen this before. You've seen the does, as it were. So this is does 1 through 10. He's essentially complaining that when the thing that he put out, when it was covered, he said it wasn't fair use. It wasn't there wasn't enough transformation to it. Okay, we're not going to go through the whole items through this. Again, this is what the Fats were told to look at. As far, again, Miltos was like, check this out. Look at this case. Yeah. One person, as far as before it went to get this, one person folded. One person defaulted. But one person actually asked for judgment. So here's where we are. So the defendant moved for judgment on pleadings in part because of transformative nature of use. That would be, again, fair use. The first statutory factor examines the purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of a commercial nature or is for non-profit educational purposes. Quote, the factor taken on a heightened significance because it influences the lens through which we consider two other fair use factors. Now, the central inquiry under the first factor is whether the new work is transformative. Now, the term transformative, now you got to understand, again, this is important stuff when people are talking about quote unquote copyright. The term transformative does not appear in specific laws, and yet it permeates copyright analysis. Transformative works, quote, add something new to an existing work, endowing the first with new expression, meaning, or message, rather than merely superseding the objects of the original creation. So you're adding something new. You know, that's why commentary is so important. Now, it's funny because the Fats have complained and said, Tug would take a few lines from one of my from one of my transcripts and he'd do it 3 hours about it. Yeah, that's called transformative work. You make the point for that. That's absolutely what's going on there. So the court in this is held that the central purpose of investigation is to see whether the new work merely supersedes the object of the original creation or instead adds something new with a further purpose of different character, altering the first with new expression, meaning, or message. It asks, in other words, whether and to what extent the new work is transformative. In contrast, quote, commentary that has no critical bearing on the substance or style of the original composition, which the alleged infringer merely uses to get attention or to avoid the drudgery in working up something fresh, the claim to fairness in borrowing from another's work diminishes accordingly. So again, the type of commentary, like when we're going out and utilizing that, yeah, this is what you run into with the case they've been saying to look at. Well, the court deems what this person did as transformative. Throughout the live stream that they had, they were looking at, again, does this really matter? And now the item, it's heavily politicized, by the way. I'm not trying to get into a political topic, but I'm trying to note what is here in it and what is talked about as transformative. Now, throughout the live stream, the defendant provides commentary pertaining to criticism of the item. Defendant contends that the item there resembles a high school video project or middle school project. During the subject live stream, this is a judge, by the way, talking about this. Defendant complains about the documentary's editing, that the video treats the audience like morons, is attempting to trick them. You see this right here? Commentary like this, where, oh man, you treat your audience like idiots. You are attempting to scam them. You are attempting to defraud them. That's weird, isn't it? Again, the idea of copyright, this portion. Now, again, if you want to get into the other parts, if you want to slam out, first of all, if you want to slam out some shitty lawsuit that tries to add in copyright, defamation, tortious interference, you're going to get a shotgun plating and it's going to go to hell on you. It's going to go to hell real quick. But if you want to try to fire out certain elements, again, you want to say people are defaming you, you want to go with a different item there, again, you're going to run into the problems of you've had everything from donors, the people who are supposed to pick up money. That alone, those two factors alone are a problem. But just recently, gifts that were given out, you saying, oh, you guys can't have those, screw you. Okay, there's yet another problem, and so on. Those are going to be some real issues. If they're going to complain about FOIA, well, again, you put that out in the open. You did that. You caused this because you called somebody a creeper. You put out multiple videos on the subject. You don't get to be the end all be all. That's not how it works. People are allowed to look in. You know, they have also been complaining about people looking into them. Well, that quote about my ex, when they were talking about her record, that means they did a background search on her. So wait a minute. So you do background searches on other people, but other people can't look into you? That's very strange. 3 years, man. 3 fucking years of trying to burn someone's life down. And but anyway, so again, just the copyright portion. Notably, the fair use inquiry does not ask whether the criticism or parody of the copyrighted work is just or accurate. So it doesn't ask if you're accurate at all. Fair use looks at whether or not something is fair use. So if you want to complain that the spirit of what you said in transcripts or whatever you put out there when someone's commenting on it is not just or accurate, well, fuck you. They don't have to be. Or mean-spirited people, no, they don't have to be nice to you. My God, even what was amazing is even Vomit and Paint Chips were saying there's problems with that. Is being told the only person cheerleading is freaking Lips, I'm sure. And my God, why would you take advice from that person? I mean, they are papering the courts right now, and they are putting out stuff that it's a problem for them. I would never take advice from that person. Lord. Okay, so again, though, mean-spirited. Now, again, if you're just, we're picking up more people as we go along. Why does this matter? Because, again, if you did not hear, there's a discussion about trying to raise money. Now, they're promising this time they're going to show receipts, by the way. Here, let me, actually, I think that portion was posted. Give me a second. Mark, I think I saw you post this. Give me a second. I am pretty sure I saw that. Give me a minute. There it is. Yep. Here's the thing about, again, them talking about raising money. Okay, see, I want to explain fair use. Like right now, you notice this is part of an overall package. I am looking at some transcript here. This is what you call fair use. Why? Because it's transformative. It adds something else to this. It adds to the discussion. And the discussion is these people are morons if they think, oh, God, you know, maybe the grist's falling. I don't know. But here's a discussion. That is one thing, because lawyer's going to cost me a pretty penny. I can tell you that. So, guys, I might actually set up a pool for my legal fees. I'm just letting you know I'm thinking about, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to reach in my pocket and I'll pull out $30,000 of my own to start. Of my own. I have kids and shit. Do I want to do that? No. But I'll tell you, you are not going to intimidate, you know. You're not going to try to see, these people hope if they go after enough folks that they'll spread them thin and they won't be able to recuperate and to cover the costs. I can cover my costs. I don't want to, because again, I have kids and my money should go to them. But I will not be intimidated by these people. And again, making it very clear. The things I have, you may have ghosted the live streams where you say some of the worst stuff that you can possibly aim at a person. But we have those live streams. We already got them. So when you're making these claims that you could have easily refuted and you put them out as gospel, Leslie picks them up, John Cook picks them up. They talk about harassing people with them and more. That's a problem for you. A real problem. See, with the signs, you notice John Cook and Michelle Preston are running from the idea that they did the signs. And even if they did it, they're trying to make the point that even if we did those things, how many people saw it? It couldn't be damaging, right? Well, unfortunately for 2L, number one, you did these things and you did them for over a year. Number two, you didn't do it by a highway. You did it on the information superhighway. So lots of people saw it. In fact, you've left it out there. It doesn't matter if you deleted your content after the fact. You got a real problem there. It's the same problem that you run into with people like Megan. You know, again, there are statements you have to bring up these people and talk about what they state, because they state things like You were involved in calling a school and shutting it down, impacting an entire district and impacting the lives of 3,000 students. So, of course, you have to be able to talk about that. But at the same time, and that is pure defamation, man, because absolutely didn't happen. First of all, the shutdown didn't occur. Second of all, I don't even know if a call happened, period. But linking it to anybody? Oh, I will more than happily turn over my phone records for that date, and I will fucking nail you for that. Because you put myself, Megan, and many other people in that. Not to mention the obituary mass. Remember that? It was, these people created obituaries, lips. And then you find out she actually did it herself. All of that stuff. Again, that is actual problem for you. Because you can't even base that opinion on what? It's a problem. Again, you talk about money, you keep bringing that up. Well, you can base that on donor statements. You can base that again on Michelle Preston's own statements, on her postings. All that stuff happened publicly. The bench donor, they went to the police with it. Again, the fights that have happened publicly with donors. The fact that nobody's allowed to know anything about it. The fact that refunds were promised if things weren't completed by January 2026. The fact that it wasn't called donations anymore. It was called gifts. There's plenty of things you put in black and white, man. But on top of that, again, the defamatory bullshit. Oh, yeah. That's a problem. But, and don't worry, when we go, look, here's a poppy seeds, right? When she, I will show every receipt. We'll show receipts. We'll show receipts. Why don't you do that with everything? It's interesting. On this thing, they will show receipts. On this thing. Now, there's something interesting in here, too, because this is my legal piece. Anyway, just want to be reminded of what happened today because old post, blah, blah, blah. But here was something interesting, too. Okay. If you really, we're not accepting, donations. It's not a fundraiser. Like it's going to go to a pool, like a PayPal pool, kind of like what Bruce did with Michelle and John. So we'll see. Because I've been taking care of everybody else. Wait, what? What does that mean? What does that mean? You've been taking care of everybody else. What does that say? But I digress. So, talking about, these people are, if they are dumb enough to move forward with this mess after the madness that they have done for a long time. I mean, a long time. Talking about somebody, again, running over dogs. And I mean, God, look at this stuff. Last night, they were spreading the idea that Megan had been demonetized. Meglin, I like that. It's Megalodon, it's Meglin. I just call her Meglin. It sounds like she has a peg leg or something. Meglin, get over here. But they were spreading the idea that Megan had been demonetized, which is totally not true. That she wasn't getting any kind of back end, which was totally not true. Oh my God. I mean, it's the dumbest stuff. And also that Jeremy had somehow broken some kind of aviation free, or I'm sorry, maybe give me a minute. Let me think. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I can't. It's aviary, but I'm trying to think of I said aviation. I don't know why, but aviary. I think they were saying the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. They were trying to say that him picking up peacock feathers was somehow against the law, which, oh my God. It's just yet another thing that they don't research at all. They just throw out a stupid opinion, and the stupid opinion is wrong. It's absolutely 100% wrong. Oh my God. I mean, look, any filing that I make that has to do with money, it's going to come with mugshots. That's going to be eye-catching, because it's going to come with mugshots. Because I believe that transparency, well, number one, transparency should have happened for a few reasons. But number two, transparency should very well be afforded, not just publicly, but also to donors when they're asking. I know Only Me was not afforded transparency. He made that very, very clear that he was not afforded that. And especially considering some of the people that have gathered around it. He made that very clear, though. It'll be interesting to put those into those letters and all those public discussions from all the streams they ghosted. I'm glad I captured a bunch of that stuff before. It's amazing, because we're pretending those didn't happen these days, you know? It's like February. They're like, oh, well, he started doing that because he came into y'all's chats. No, he actually wanted to know what was happening with stuff, and he was treated like absolute trash. So it blew up spectacularly in the public. And it was amazing. And it went on for, I forget how many months. But anyway, so let's continue reading this. So, again, fair use. It doesn't ask if it's just. It doesn't ask if it's accurate. It doesn't ask if it's mean-spirited. It simply asks whether the use of the kind that is that copyright is designed to protect. Now it notes again, here's another case, finding fair use where copyrighted image of a model was posted on a website with comments underneath, including every time I saw her, I thought she was super ugly and awkward looking. And wondering how the model could get married to that rich guy and be a model. Again, now, fair use here, what they were trying to say as a picture, again, this is people being assholes. There was a picture of a model that was put on a website. There were people commenting under it in this. And remember Dirty World? You remember that stuff coming up? Remember the lawsuits with that? That's how we found out about certain players and other stuff. But in that, again, it was found that that is protected. And those comments, defendants offer other criticism. The subject documentary during a live stream, following one of the documentaries, criticisms of, again, certain items, they go through and they note on the treatment of certain people. They talk about the criticisms that come up. Additionally, during the live stream, I'm not going to go through all of it. Again, it's highly politicized stuff. And the point is not to go through and to talk about the content, but rather the decision. But the court finds that defendants' criticism and commentary within the live stream video to demonstrate the following, quote unquote, telltale signs of transformative use. One, further purpose or different character in the defendant work, i.e. the creation of new information, a new aesthetic, new insight and understanding. Two, the use of quoted material as raw material instead of repackaging it and merely superseding the objects of the original creation. Now that is important too. See, when we quote, like when I'm making sure that I quote these people correctly, transcripts allow that. I always think it's funny, I always remember the quote too. For people that tell you, don't quote me, the only people who say that are people that obviously didn't say anything worth quoting, ultimately, right? But they want to pretend that their words themselves are copyrighted. You cannot quote them and talk about what they're discussing and add new commentary. That is the epitome of fair use. That is what fair use is grounded on. So dumb, man. It's amazing to listen to idiots that quote a case. You know, what's funny too is in this, when Ethan Klein looked, so what was amazing in this case is his own case before was used as part of the decision-making tool too. Because again, I'm not getting into the back and forth of opinion because, first of all, I don't like Hassan Piker. The whole shot collar thing with his dog was just ugly, nasty stuff. But nasty people anyway. But, you know, the other part of it, I don't know. I haven't watched their documentary. Don't care to. Don't want to. You know, just don't care to at all. But the idea of fair use and whether or not something is fair use, again, they were pointing right to this case like they were going to have some kind of big win because this thing existed. But the undisputed purpose of defendant's live stream was to contest, criticize, and mock the plaintiff's message, which the courts have found weighs in favor of fair use. Look at this. The undisputed purpose of defendant's live streams is to contest, to criticize, and to mock the plaintiff's message. To mock it. If I'm criticizing, again, that's commentary. If I'm contesting and I'm saying this is bullshit, that's commentary. And if I'm mocking it, it damn well is commentary. Oh my God. I feel like I am talking to moronic children with these people. You know what I mean? See, what I'm saying now is commentary. Oh, Lord. But they quote the very case that if you look in the disclaimer from 2L and the gang, they actually have that as their disclaimer. And they're quoting it here. They're noting that finding that the first factor weighed in defendant's favor as the defendant's reaction video was a quintessential criticism and comment. Again, if you've never heard of that, this was an amazing lawsuit, the early one in 2017, because you had H3H3. In fact, just look up H3 or haha, but they're H3H3. Look up the H3H3 lawsuit. You'll find Ethan Klein versus Haas. I don't know how to. I'll just call him Haas. Well, what that guy used to do is he would make, I've talked about it before, but I'm going to throw it in here. That guy would make videos that were, I'm going to say cringy. He would have these parkour videos. He would walk up, there'd be like a really like beautiful woman. She would be in, like workout gear, but she'd be very attractive. He would do something like sexist as hell. Like smack her on the butt or say something. She would get offended. She'd go to smack him or something, He would grab something from her or do something. A chase would ensue. He would parkour all over the place. She'd parkour after him. And then at the end, he'd win the woman. Well, Ethan Klein, H3H3, thought that was hilarious because it was hilariously bad, right? I mean, Hale was trying to make himself look amazing. And, all of us thought at the time that was supposed to be funny, right? It's just a joke. He's not actually thinking that that's him. So H3H3 made fun of the thing. And when they did, this dude sued. He sued because he said that a lot of the comments that they made, they were disparaging, very much disparaging, dude. And he was like, "Oh, that hurts me. It hurts my image." Well, they found that again, that the mockery, the commentary, the criticism, that it proved that first portion, transformative, finding transformative use, where hosts reacted to and commented on original videos. Again, that is like where they're talking about Megan commenting on their voice and commenting on things that they state and refuting it. The worst part of it is these aren't random videos either. These are videos that are about Megan Fox, or they're about myself, or they're about Hales or whomever. You know, they're aimed at specific people, and some of the things that are stated could be life ruinous statements. People have the ability to go in and check your ass for that. So the facts here closely align with another case here. In Stebbins, the court found that the subject live streams heavily, or whether the court found that the subject live stream were heavily transformative works because the live streams involved the viewing of the subject video for seconds at a time before pausing to respond and critique the subject video. You know, I get a lot of people that complain, like when I would do videos, you know, or I do a live stream, I'll pull up something and we'll comment. You know how we do with Depo? We'll listen to something, we'll provide commentary with it, and sometimes we won't get through 20 minutes. Well, that's transformative. It protects us. We absolutely, again, when we're going through looking at body camera footage, especially when we're looking at stuff that relates to a prior subject these people put out. We're talking about Creeper, and they're celebrating arrests, and they put out half a dozen or more videos on the subject. You absolutely have, again, the right to do that. The subject video created by plaintiff provided the plaintiff's analysis and opinions regarding a video game. The live streams, however, provided commentary on the subject video, as well as several additional hours regarding other videos produced by plaintiff and his comments therein. The relevant live stream in Stebbins, quote, paused and commented on plaintiff's retrospective with the purpose of reviewing or mocking the video. Again, notice that other word there. It's not just viewing. It's mocking. Again, I am not obligated to nicety. If I call you fat or stupid or ugly or whatever, I can call you those things. I absolutely have that. You know, it's the amazing thing. You know, if I say like they would be like the dictionary view of, say, the words leper colony. You know, if I thought about what that meant, and I looked at those people and I said, yeah, that's what a leper colony I think should look like. If I say that, it's okay. You know, I can say things like that. I'm allowed to. I don't have to be nice, and neither do they. And they aren't either. That's the beautiful part. They are not nice either. Quote, the criticism is at the heart of fair use doctrine, and it would lose meaning without reproduction of plaintiff's video. So again, when they're talking about suing someone like Megan or myself, criticism, it doesn't have meaning without showcasing what you're criticizing. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? It loses that portion. That's why people bring it up. Again, in this case here, noting that commentary criticism that targets the original work may have a compelling reason to conjure up the original by borrowing from it. As in Stebbins, the defendant's live stream provided commentary on this item here and sharp criticism of the claims made within the documentary. I'll get it right in a minute. But throughout the live stream, defendant often paused on that, offered spontaneous reactions, engaged with audience at live chat, provided real-time commentary, interspersed with tangential discussions. Further, the courts have recognized that the differences in viewing experiences and uses weigh in favor of finding a fair use. Quote, because defendant's use of copyrighted materials served a completely different function than that of the plaintiffs, This first factor weighs in defendant's favor. The difference in viewing experience here is undisputed. When the plaintiffs are talking again, they make comments about it, and you see the difference. What they're saying with this is you see these people have X opinion, and the people commenting, they have Y opinion. Well, that just goes to showcase, again, fair use. Now, there's a lot more of this too. I don't want to spend the whole live stream going through it. I think we should look through this and talk about it. But I think this is interesting because the first part alone, that it's hard because, when they go through, again, you go through each portion, like they don't understand what commercial use means. When they're saying, oh, well, we shoved this behind a paywall after it was public, therefore you can't talk. That's not how it works. They don't understand what commercial, they should look it up. And really, the whole idea of copyright is, it's complicated. Listening to more, see, what amazes me is they're listening to opinions from people. What is their background? Are they copyright lawyers? Because you know what? I've talked to quite a few copyright lawyers. I've had that experience because people have tried to shut me down talking about things in the past. And that's a big nay. Now, with this, I thought that was interesting. The other thing that I think is interesting today is all of the reports that Leslie Federico's put in. Like, let's say, for example, did you see these? Did you see the FTC reports? That's right. She made reports to the FTC. Oh, wait, what else has she made reports to, you might ask? Well, she also, interestingly enough, made reports to the Attorney General. That's right. And she's posting this stuff publicly. She's the one doing it, but she's doing it under sock puppets. Who else would have this material? On top of that, guess who else she's making complaints to? Oh, the feds. That's right. We also have complaints to the feds. We have multiple complaints. This stuff is nuts. Let's look at a few of these. Would you like to look at some with me? I think you would have fun with this. I'm making sure that I didn't miss something on here. So there's actually multiple. Give me a second. There's actually multiple complaints that are in this IC3 report. That's why it's so long. You can see, like on here, there's 7 pages attached to one. And there's 7 pages attached to another. Again, you can see Leslie Federico's is the person taking aim. She's taking aim at Randy Chauchet. Let me make sure there's nothing. And Jeremy Hales and George. Now let's read these together. Would you like to read these with me? These are, this is nuts, man. So provide a description of the incident and how you or those you are filling this out on behalf of were victimized. So she's not actually filling this out on behalf of anybody. She's just filling this out because she's trying to make up some false claims to screw over people. So provide information not captured elsewhere in the complaint form. I am a retired attorney, permanently retired, Leslie, permanently, very deceptive here, and named party in an active civil litigation in which Randall Shockett Esquire serves as counsel of record for Jeremy Hales and George. Jeremy Hales is a public internet personality with substantial following on YouTube and Facebook, where he operates a channel called What the Hales. He regularly broadcasts live to thousands of viewers. You notice in her court filings, by the way, sometimes it's thousands, sometimes it's tens of thousands, sometimes it's hundreds of thousands. Today, it's only thousands, though, thousands of viewers, and uses those platforms to solicit financial support. George is a romantic partner and co-party to the referenced litigation and named beneficiary of fundraising described therein. Randall Shochet Esquire is a licensed Florida attorney serving as counsel of record for both parties. Mr. Shochet has a prior conviction for Medicare fraud. His identity, representation, and his purported legal fees are central to the false representations described in this complaint. On multiple occasions, Jeremy Hale has appeared before his online audience via live internet broadcast and recorded video publications transmitted through interstate wire communications, and has publicly represented that he paid Randall Shochet in excess of $500,000 in legal fees and connections with litigation he initiated over the past year. Number one, not just to Randall Shochet. Number two, not just to litigation over the past year. I mean, we're talking about, look at all the cases that are out there. We have the protective orders. There'd be the protective order against Hales, first of all of that. Look at how long that went on. Look at everything that had to go on with that. Also trying to get the judge removed, managing to do that too. How all of that went. You have the protective orders he himself filed. You have the main protective order, then the violations that occurred, then another set of hearings about violations, which, as far as I know, still has not been decided on, which is wild when you think about it. Then you have the bankruptcy. Not only do you have the main portions of the bankruptcy, but you have the offshoot of the bankruptcy, wherein, God, so much stuff is going on. It's crazy. You have the Fed cases, which there was Fed 1. Fed 1 is paused at this moment. Fed 2, which Fed 2 started out with 10 people. 8 people were dismissed out of that, cut down. So it's been cut down to 2 parties now. You have Preston and you have Paint Chips that are so far still active. Although Paint Chips filed something new too. I haven't even looked at it yet. I've got to go through and redact that too. We might go over that another day. But you've got that. You also have the state cases. So with the state cases, you have the thumbnail case. You have the offshoots from the thumbnail case. You have the trespass 5, which is not his case, but you have all the weird stuff that's going on. You have the BBB case that spawns out of the thumbnail case and really kind of spawned. I feel like it materialized out of both cases. It materializes out of the thumbnail case, but the stuff he was doing, I mean, it was connected to all of it, right? So you have the mess that comes up with BBB. On top of that, I'm sure you have any kind of bar complaints or anything else that were filed with that. You're talking about quite a bit of money, quite a bit. Again, first case that I really heavily focused on, the Vic Mignogna case. That case, you had multiple defendants. One of them was a major corporation. You didn't have that many filings, but the filings were huge, and there was a lot of preamble, let's say, to it. And that thing, just to get to where it was, cost almost $50,000, just to get dismissed by anti-SLAPP. So Vic Mignogna ended up owing, I believe, 200. Here's the thing that the Fats need to understand. Like Vic Mignogna, when he lost his case and got dismissed, when he got hit with the anti-SLAPP, he ended up owing the different parties there $280,000. Can you imagine that kind of debt hanging over you? 280 grand. I mean, that's not something to jerk around with, Oh, give me a second. Imagine Oh Lord. Look, apparently apparently, oh my God. Now they are trying to allege that this is nuts. So they're alleging that it's harassment because someone commented on their live stream. Yeah, that's right. A public fucking live stream. Someone said, hey, you're a liar. Because, hey, as far as you said that Megan Fox was demonetized. This person's like, liar, I donated to them last night. Are you freaking kidding me? That guy just got said that. That's supposed to be proof of harassment, by the way. So you're going out and fixating on Megan Fox the whole night. That wasn't harassment, but somebody being like, you're a liar, dude. I actually, yeah, okay. All right. I hear you. What a bunch of weirdos, man. Again, it's just like the Tammy J thing. She sat around and just like, again, Stacy or Flutter or any of these people, just like that, they're like, we can talk all the shit we want about you. We can take aim at, like Tammy J. Good God, the stuff they said about her, but at the same time, threatening her, saying, if you even utter a word, anything at all, we're going to come after you and sue you. Uh-huh. That bullshit, man. Again, it's amazing though, just to see this narrative at play. This is proof I'm being harassed. How are you being harassed? Because they said I was lying when I went after Megan Fox. Holy shit. Oh, okay. Anyway. All right, let's continue. Oh my God. So these representations were made explicitly to solicit sympathy, financial support, and donations from his audience. Yes, by the way, if you would like to feel sympathy and provide financial support and donations, well, consider super chats. Consider ye old breadsticks. That's right. It's so dumb, man. Look at this stupid stuff that Leslie, again, this is being written to the FBI, though, okay? The litigation for which Mr. Hales claims to have incurred these fees was, in overwhelming majority of cases, initiated by Hales himself and subsequently dismissed with prejudice at the earliest stages of the proceedings. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I forgot Dan Owen. My bad. I forgot that in there, too. And the appeal with Dan Owen. Cases dismissed with prejudice before substantial discovery, extensive motion practice, or trial preparation do not, understanding legal billing framework, generate fees approaching. But this is so stupid. That case by itself, $100,000. Oh, yeah, I very much believe it. All of the service issues and more. These people are going to learn stuff like with service. Again, I 100% will cooperate with anything that a court orders. But as far as service, these folks have taught me a lot about service and what is not and really is allowed. You know, that has been really eye-opening, especially, you know, when it comes to claims of I can't receive mail. Oh, by the way, there is a question too that comes up. So I saw some people pointing out something that was actually quite fascinating. And that was, you know how Michelle Preston is saying that she doesn't get her mail at the P.O. box, like it's almost like it's not there. Well, John Cook was talking about his P.O. box, a different P.O. box out there. People were asking, did they open up another P.O. box and close the other one down so they can't get mail for something? Is that what's happened? And again, that is a question I don't know the answer to, but I do find it interesting with all this stuff that gets returned, if that's actually the case. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm taking some, oh my gosh. I've been out all day. I've been wearing those freaking Oh, those constriction socks. Oh my God, my feet. I just took them off. I feel like I just unmummified my feet. They're like, oh my God. So sorry for a second there. I was like, oh my God. But the litigation, let's see, 5, in furtherance of this scheme, a GoFundMe raising campaigns was created by a supporter acting in concert with or at the direction of Mr. Hales and or George, soliciting donations from the public for Mr. Hale's purported legal fees. No proof of any of this, by the way. Acting at the bequest of... What? Really? They're coordinating and what? The campaign explicitly states Hale's legal bills continue to increase and have already cost Jeremy George $539,700 out of pocket. To date, the campaign has raised $36,721 toward a stated goal of $200K. This figure does not include donations received during live streams, which are believed to be substantially greater. Believed to be. You notice these words again. Don't know, have no idea. Amazing. False representations made. Now, again, do you know that they're false? No, have no idea, but they don't care. They don't care if it's true or not. They just say straight up. Made by Hales and George directly implicate Randall Shuckett Esquire. When Mr. Hales publicly states he has paid his attorney over $500K, and when a GoFundMe campaign contributes, what? Attributes, rather. I said contributes, my bad. I said attributes. Man, I got to move my mic around. I couldn't see the beginning of the word. I thought it said, I was like, what? Is she saying it again? Attributes $539,700 to out-of-pocket legal costs. The clear and intended implication is that those funds were paid to and received by Mr. Shochet. Actually, again, multiple lawyers. Idiot. Multiple lawyers. By the way, again, I think something that is really funny is that during all these discussions about money, remember Leslie said that she was going to take us for $300,000 when this started off because they had to watch some videos. You remember all of that? You know, they're gonna hit us with $300,000 in legal expenses. Well, she was talking about all this stuff, and she was talking about the amount of money, you know, with this, the amount of money that she has seen come in ever. And the most money she's ever seen come in was $180K, she said. So that's supposedly the most for a trial, $180K. And yet, the beginning of a trial, she's saying that she could run up costs on us and incur it at $300,000. You see this garbage. I mean, these people tell on themselves in so many different ways. But also, she was saying, hey, you can run up a $180,000 bill in one thing. Well, man, there's been a bunch of them, you know? There's been a bunch of them. Oh, I forgot to note, too, the Leslie lawsuit. Even though that never went forward, Randy did respond to her and then put in time where they were having discussions. So, which she admits to, she spins a different way, but she admits that that happened. Here's the opposing counsel thing. Look, this is where she's talking about costs, by the way. I'll come back to that in just a second. But here's where she's discussing it. The most she's seen. Even when I represented a millionaire, an opposing counsel charged $750 an hour. The most that case billed was $180K. So again, she's talking about one case, $180K. You know? Very much so. That's what, again, the Fats, they have a real problem. If they pick up one of these bunk ass lawyers like these people and they try to file some kind of pro se garbage, that'll be a real problem for them. If they try to take on a lawyer out there, go for defamation, again, big problem for them too. The costs are just insane. But I mean, this is so dumb. And to go out there and to do this again while going after opposing counsel, what she's done here is beyond loony. And all of this is just, again, it's so crazy to think that she's done this. So given the widespread, repeated, and public nature of these representations, it strains credulity to suggest Mr. Shochet was unaware of them. His failure to correct the record may constitute participation in or facilitation of fraudulent scheme. Again, no proof of fraud whatsoever. You notice they only care about fraud when, by the way? The victims of this scheme are members of the public who donated to GoFundMe campaign and who otherwise provided financial support to Mr. Hales based on false representation described therein. The individuals parted with their money based on the belief that Mr. Hales and George genuinely incurred, again, the 500 plus K, in legal costs, representation that, for reasons set forth above, I believe to be material false. Now, again, no proof. I think this is fake. I don't know. The $36,000 again. So this is the only portion, by the way, that she knows has been given publicly. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that people sent in cash that was that much money to you. Do you think $72,000 would even scratch the itch on what these cases have cost? Because I'm telling you, like right now, cases like this, they are insanely expensive. Let me see. Let me make sure there's no other information. Okay, so through this stuff, they add in quotes. Now, some of this quote stuff gets crazy in places. I'm going to show you some crazy stuff with quotes a little bit. Here, they noted, dodged for deposition again, had to try and cost me as much money as possible. So to date, here's how much I've paid in legal fees so far: $539,500 in legal fees to get freaks and fools. Who are the witnesses? Lise, Lizzie. What is this name? Lise. How do you pronounce that? Lissy? Lissy Lee? Lissy Lee is one of the witnesses. Michelle Prestone is a witness. How are these witnesses? I have no idea. I don't really know how they would be witnesses to this. Jean Cook, Richard the Paint Chips. Oh, you forgot Junior, by the way. He doesn't go by Luthman. You talking about his daddy there? He made that clear in court. You're not talking about old Paint Chips. Michael, she put in her hubby, and interestingly, she threw in her she threw in someone that is an officer of the court through this mess. So you tied in your officer of the court hubby to this insanity. That's pretty stupid, in my opinion. Over 750,000 followers who donated to the YouTube channel. 750,000 people donated. If that's the case, well, let me figure something out. Okay, so what do we have? $32,000? Is that what it was? 32K. Let me see. One second. All right, I'm pulling up something, but I had to text somebody real fast too. Let's see. So, let's see. 750,000 people divided by, how much was that? 30. Give me 1 second. We'll come back to that. 36,000. Oh my Lord. That's a think about this. So if every person, the way she wrote that out, donated, every single person, right? Imagine how little that would be from 750,000 people. I mean, you're talking about what is that? 4 cents maybe. Every person would be donating like 4 cents or something. I believe that's correct. 4 to maybe 5 cents. So that's so dumb. That is so dumb. Now let me make sure. Again, there's another document. I'm just trying to make sure that again. Now there's a bunch of notices, by the way, that are that note what she's trying to report. Just to state this too. So as far as complaints, the type of statutes that this covers, you have 18 USC 1028. That'd be false documents and identity theft. 1028A, which is aggravated identity theft. 1029, credit card fraud. Let's go through these, okay? False documents and identity theft. No, that's not it. Aggravated identity theft, no. Computer fraud, maybe. Wire, counterfeit and illicit labels, no. Violation of intellectual property rights, no. FBI authorized to investigate violations of federal law for which is primary investigative jurisdiction. FBI authorized to collect and maintain information, criminal information, crime, and other records. So, I mean, with this, again, what exactly is she trying to report? What violation? Now, on top of this is interesting too. So, there's the second IC3 report. This, again, this is another FBI report, okay? Explain this to me. She puts in, look, it's your contact information, blah, blah, blah. Complainant information, name, Leslie Federico's, age 40 to 49. Wait, what? What does this mean? How old are you? Well, I'm somewhere between 40 and 49. What? What's happening? I don't think that's how this works. Oh my Lord. That's pretty funny though. Tell the FBI, how old are you? Well, let's play a guessing game, shall we? Holy Lord. Let me make sure there's not any. Again, I'm making sure there is not any type of address or anything in this. All right. So here comes the secondary complaint. All right, here's another one. What was the date on this one, by the way? This one is on 6/3. So this is the newer of the complaints. Again, she's dumping these into the public and showing them to everybody. She's bragging about this. What's going to happen later on is she's going to have one of those moments of clarity where she's like, oh, shit. I have done some very stupid things. And yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty dumb. It very well is pretty dumb to do. So the description of the incident, again, as the other one noted, provide a description of the incident, how you or those you're filling this out on behalf of were victimized. Okay, let's find this out. Jeremy Hales and George were the Jeremy Hales and George, with the assistance of Randall Shochet Esquire, have engaged in a fraudulent scheme to solicit donations from the public by knowingly and repeatedly misrepresenting the amount of legal fees purportedly incurred, as evidenced by their own streams during multiple YouTube live streams. Now, what's interesting in this one, she is going to very well deceive the FBI and lie. Like here, all right. I'm going to show you this one, okay? Because what she does, she timestamps to a certain point. When I click this link, that's what it's going to take me to. Now, it won't show you when it... $1 million. Well, actually, maybe it did. Let me see. Did that switch? Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. So you can hear, look, you can hear him say the word $1 million, right?
Right now.
You could hear where she clicked it in. $1 million, right? Let me do this again. I'm going to show you exactly how she's misleading when she does this. Okay. It's so deceptive the way that she's doing this, though, because what she did is she cut off the sentence itself to make it. I mean, it's so disingenuous and deceptive. 1 second, I'm resetting it because I want you to hear it'll come on right when I hit the link. It'll start to play. But again, she tries to make it sound like he is saying that they have ran up $1 million, which he does not say that. She cuts it off in the middle of sentence. I've had people do this kind of dumb shit to me too. But listen to where it picks up. Again, how she does this.
$1 million right now in legal fees to get these freaks to stop.
Okay, so where she cuts it, it says $1 million too. But if you go back to see actually what he says here, that is not what he says. Okay, I've jumped back about 10 more seconds, well, 20 more seconds. So he's going to say a few more words, and I'm going to turn on the subtitles, okay? So you can see what is actually stated, because it doesn't say $1 million. She lied about this. This is knowingly lying about it, by the way.
That Randy Shockett wore during Lynette Preston's deposition. This is fine Italian quality. Randy dropped it off personally here at the schoolhouse. He said, you know what? I heard somebody is interested in that tie. I want you to auction it off. I want you to auction it off. Now, we are just under $500,000 right now in legal fees.
So we are just under $500,000 in legal fees. He didn't say $1 million. In fact, he said much less than that in this live stream. We are just under $500,000. So the way that she broke that to utilize $1 million isn't just a little deceptive. That is just straight up fraudulent BS. That's craziness. All right, let's go back. Just give me 1 second. I have to reset it there. But you can see that's the kind of stuff she does with this. It's nuts. Because again, she's playing chicken with not just the FBI, but she's putting this out in public while she's being sued. The people that she's going after are suing her. I mean, how stupid can you be? So she says ranging from $360K to $1 million. By the way, she put out almost $1 million before. And she's been trying to make this number stick. She did this in a filing as well, which I guess maybe we'll do the entire filing tomorrow. You know, it's a large filing, and I have to be in the mood for it. It's a funny filing, but I wanted to show you all these today. But in her filing, she quotes $960,000 to try to make the $1 million number work again, right? The problem is when he mentions $960,000, even in that, he's not talking about legal fees. He's talking about property. He's talking about, you know, incurring land and more. So he's not even talking about that. He's talking about something totally different. But she tries to make it part of the legal fee discussion. Again, she's not just haphazardly noting something. She is purposefully going out and misdirecting and lying. It's wild to see. So, Hale's provided materially inconsistent and contradictory figures ranging from $360K to $1 million regarding legal fees allegedly paid, all while actively soliciting and collecting donations from these legal expenses from a live audience and exceeding 60,000 viewers. So between the two reports, now what's amazing, look, This is even better. This statement, it blows my mind. This is going to be even better here because she states, first of all, he has 60,000 viewers now. So he went from a few thousand the day before when she made a report, thousands, to 60,000 live viewers. That's what she's got. A live audience exceeding 60,000 viewers. 60,000 people are in that live. That is just insane to put in. So you can see this discussion, like where things are coming up with all the talking about numbers and more. Her noting $50,000. $50,000. That has nothing to do. I couldn't remember if she said, we'll look at all the quotes in a minute, but that has nothing to do actually with legal fees. What that has to do with is one donor giving $54,000 to $56,000 to 2L in the gang. So that's not even talking about Jeremy Hales. She brings up another subject in this to try to state that somebody gave him $50,000, which is, again, absolutely false. That's talking about only me. Oh, only me. Oh, it's so bizarre. That, you know, which amazes me. So they care about allegations of fraud and falsity if they could tie only me to Jeremy Hales. But when only me has been complaining about everything that transpired with him and 2L, they don't care about it. They will not bring it up. Isn't that interesting, right? Because I'm sure not only will we not see this corrected, but I'm sure she doesn't give two shits about only me and that money now that she finds out, oh, wait, that has nothing to do with it. Isn't that nuts? These represent, I mean, she's talking about, again, she just lies about shit, just straight up lies about it. It's amazing to me. She's lying to the Fed here. These misrepresentations transmitted via interstate wire communications through YouTube constitute a deliberate course of conduct designed to induce viewers to donate money under false pretenses in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1343. You know what's amazing about this too? 2L also read off one of these. Yeah. So they got together. She gave her FBI report to 2L to read and then went on her show as a guest while saying you can't talk about any of the stuff that goes on. And she's just a private figure and she'll sue you if you say otherwise. Isn't that interesting too? So the pattern of inconsistent statements, including both substantial inflation and deflation of legal fee amounts within short time periods, demonstrates a knowing intent to defraud donors by fabricating or exaggerating the financial needs for legal defense funds. Further, his attorney, Randall Shochet, gave Hales his tie to auction off to raise money. Oh my God, he gave him a tie. Holy shit. Now, does it note anything else there besides and therefore? No. Nothing else is added to it, just that he gave his tie. Okay. Oh my Lord. So let's go through. Again, we saw this quote, right? Where she cut it off, $1 million. She cut that off. And again, I would have said that this was about the tie thing, but she quoted $1 million. So where else is the $1 million total coming from? That comes from right here. And she cut it off to get it. This, again, views are not viewers. God. Leslie, I'm going to make this very clear. If a person, by the way, if you enjoy the content too, watch it several times. If people refresh their screen, it counts as another view. So that doesn't constitute individual viewers. Those are just views. Okay. So default judgment. Okay. We're 348,000 legal. We're now at 360. Okay. July, another 30K. Our new total, that's 390. 390. My legal fees, regards to this point, we're done, but with a statement that they don't have any money, but will pay my legal fees up front to this point, which she's caused. I'll get more. Oh, okay. So there's a number. Let's see. 480. So profitable that our legal fees are now $480,500 from these freaks that wish that they had. Okay. Let's see. So here she's like, oh my God, look, there's a different number. It's 360. I need to look at this. Give me 1 second. I'm curious about this too. I don't want it to. Let me see something. Oh no. You know, by the way,
my hands.
it's being quoted, by the way. It's Blue Tape Man.
Justice.
Actually, she didn't link this one over. So it's funny when the anybody who clicks into this, she didn't do it correctly. So it'll bring them to the song for Blue Tape Man. It's funny. I like it. Give me 1 minute. I'm resetting this. Every time I click it, it starts it over. Okay. So that's what happens with that. She's just so nuts, man. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy to stalk a dude around and to write to the FBI, and there are other ones. We'll look at them too. So again, her quotes. You notice the number here. You know the number. Okay, it's going up. This one is just cut off. Oh no. There's Megan Fox's name. They're probably correct. Look, this one doesn't even have a total. It just goes in legal fees to date. So she forgot to put the legal fees numbers. And then there's the $1 million thing, which again, you saw how deceptive that was. So she lied in that period. So here, again, we're $5,500 away from $500,000. Okay. And here's their witnesses. Leslie, Lisa Lee, Luthman, again, not Junior, so not Paint Chips, that's his dad. Preston and Cook. Is that updating a previously filed one? Yes. Now, so she's going in and filing more and more. All right. So she also wrote, let me make sure there's nothing attached here. Okay. She also wrote to the Office of Attorney General. Yeah, that's right. She wrote to the Attorney General. So that's what this is. Going after, again, the same parties with it. For the past 2 years, 2024 to 2026, a resident of Ohio, Jeremy Hales, who owns and operates the YouTube channel What the Hales, has targeted elderly Florida residents. You know what really fucking pisses me off about that? They don't care about people who actually have targeted elderly Florida residents. They don't care about that at all. It's just hopefully they can spin something into Jeremy Hale's target. Again, this stuff is crazy. They're sitting around claiming that Hales harasses them while making some of the most insane reports I've ever seen. Remember, this isn't her first rodeo with FBI reports. She also did the school one, and God knows what else. Honestly, who knows if she's done other ones? I have no idea. But he's done this with the assistance of his girlfriend, George, a resident of Ohio. Wait, she's George at the beginning name now. I like that. That's funny. He owns a business titled Elephant Shoes LLC that is affiliated with his YouTube channel. False legal fees used to solicit donations from Florida victims. Again, she quotes the $1 million. Now you see this right here. This statement and $960,000 in fees. This is what I'm talking about. Now, she actually brings up the live stream that this came from in another item that she put together. And when she did, it's pretty easy to track down where it comes from. It's actually brought up. So here, the stream. Let me see if they have the stream listed. She just cuts off large portions of stuff. But with the $960,000, let's see. She notes that it was a live stream from June 1st, 2025. It's defendant begs for deals. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. Give me 1 minute. I want to pull that up just to show you how messed up it is. What the hell's defendant begs for deals? Is this the right one? I think this is the right one. Timestamp. Just like I said, I'm looking at another document because it's quoted in this other document here. Let's see. It is quoted as 2505 is the stamp. Give me a minute. I'm trying to make sure that if the stamp is correct too, there's a big assertion in there. So crazy though. Okay, I want to show you what that actually says. Would you like to see what that says for real? Because it's so wild to see her go in and misrepresent this. So the actual thing where $960,000 is discussed, it is in this specific live stream right here. Now the quote will come up at 2505. So there will be 20, 30 seconds. But it's worth, because you get what's being discussed in here. You can tell it's about property. It's not about legal fees. So she lied about this.
Because she emailed us begging me to bring a tractor over to move a down tree and had me illegally trespassing on a piece of property. As she lied to me and told me she owned it. She did not own it.
No.
The only reason we invested, and this is no joke, we invested $1 million. Now, there are people who are going to go, he's lying. It was $960,000. Listen, after all the fees, it was well over $1 million.
It was talking about property investment. $960,000 plus fees associated with picking up property equal $1 million. Not $1 million in legal fees. So she lied. And this misrepresentation, again, if it was one misrepresentation, when it's dozens of them, thanks, Andre. Appreciate you. I appreciate all you folks, by the way, too. I know. This stuff is so crazy, isn't it? So crazy. So, her number, though, to $1 million while stating is out of pocket this money and could not even celebrate Christmas. He further falsely states he needs assistance with his legal fees because he is, quote unquote, bringing down criminals. Please find the URLs here, with the statement. Okay. Wait, where are they? All right. Yeah, there they are. Okay. So she notes with legal fees, she does a drop down of these, noting again, and her URLs. So there was the URL, by the way. she cut off this one. Like I said before, she actually cut that one off. I showed you the $960,000 thing, which was really deceptive. And these other numbers here, again, what's insane about it, it is very much possible that I believe he spent that. Very much so. I think that by the end of these cases that he will be in $800,000 maybe. It depends. It depends on how things move forward and more. But it's crazy. I mean, you still don't have this. Okay, Fed 1 discovery and stuff hasn't really transpired there. I mean, they avoided it. We don't know how Fed 1 will turn out, but Fed 1, it's camped. Then you have Fed 2. It depends. It depends on how that goes forward, if they allow it to go forward or not. You have the stuff with Bruce still. You're talking about, litigation that is still moving forward with that. You have the bankruptcy mess that's transpiring. I mean, there's a lot. Plus, you have no idea what else will pop up. So it's quite possible. But meritless lawsuits intended to cover for the solicitation of donations for false legal fees. Hale has done this with the assistance of his attorney, Randall Shockett Esquire, who has formerly been convicted of Medicare fraud. Hales, while represented by Mr. Shockett, has filed voluminous meritless lawsuits against vulnerable Florida residents who cannot afford to retain an attorney. What garbage here, is that not? However, despite this, the majority of the lawsuits were found to be meritless at early stages and dismissed with prejudice for failure to state a claim. These lawsuits include, okay, let's look here. Let's see. That is all one lawsuit. You notice this crack-headed thing that is here. You have one case, right? It's one case with all these people, okay? And here, this is going after. Is this person, by the way, is Dan Owens? Let's see, how did they describe it? Is Dan Owens a vulnerable, elderly Florida citizen? Is that who Dan Owen is? I'm curious about that. Half these people in this too. It's like, is Ray of Florida? Is I mean, Lord, is Bruce in Florida? No. Okay, so we got 2 lawsuits here, and she's trying to make that look like these 10 lawsuits. Again, she is being deceptive as fuck, and she knows it. Because she even knows. See, this tells you how she knows that she's being deceptive. She quotes the case here. Again, let's count the ways. She quotes 1, but then she adds A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Oh my God. Look at that. This reminds me of dealing with like my little one. When she used to run out of fingers, instead of going to the other hand, she would just want to restart it. 1. She'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. That's what Leslie did here. Instead of using spectacular letters like E, F, G, and H, no, we just get the repeats of the old classics, right? Now I said my ABC, ABCs. Oh, that's beautiful. A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Oh, my Lord. What is going on? Thus, over the last 9 months, filed 10 meritless lawsuits that were dismissed with prejudice for failure to state a claim. Oh my God, what a deceptive, lying piece of crap. In addition to that, they created a GoFundMe. Now, you notice this has changed. Now they have created a GoFundMe. Not, it was created by other folks. When you look at it too, the GoFundMe, if you look at what is stated with the GoFundMe and everything else, one of the things that sticks out right away with the GoFundMe is who created it. It was created by Debbie Vaughn. And she notes that. You can see it right there. Hello, my name is Debbie Vaughn, and I'm a huge fan of Jeremy Hales and his girlfriend George, or What the Hales on YouTube. So, I mean, it notes that. And this, again, if you look at the amount of money that was raised, it raised around 20% of the noted $200K. It raised which $36,000 ain't chump change. Absolutely isn't. You know, that's what 2L is not thought about either. Jeremy Hales, in collecting money, raised $36,000. That's with his audience size. Now, when 2L started up, 2L actually probably could have gotten a bunch of people to put together enough money and conjure up a lawsuit. The problem is, though, she burned people. Like again, that monster donor out there, then she treated... Again, I don't like some of these folks, okay? I probably will never like Only Me. I don't see that happening. But he was wronged. These people treated him terribly. At one time, he wouldn't have helped them with everything. I mean, again, he noted that they tried to approach him and get him to buy property, to undermine Jeremy Hales. His allegation is pretty interesting. As far as I know, they never denied doing that either. But at one time, he would have done a lot. In fact, one of the things that repeatedly has come up has been, again, like Robbie or freaking Stupa. These different people. They've had quite a bit of money that has been given, and he would have probably given her money too. Give me 1 minute. I'm getting back to my complaint. There's so many of them. I've got my freaking screen up here flooded. It's hard for me to find my way back to the right ones. Okay, here we go. So, in this GoFundMe, they claim to be out of pocket $539,700, which is impossible when their meritless lawsuit files were dismissed at the early stage of litigation from a motion to dismiss. Leslie here is being purposely deceptive. She's not just being crackheaded in this. This is purposely deceptive because she knows that we're not talking about just one lawsuit. She says this, meritless lawsuits, plural. She knows that the lawsuits here, this isn't it. Again, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the amount of lawsuits that are out there. And I mean, the amount of money, yeah, that's the problem with lawfare. Lawfare is very expensive. This is why people do not sue. Another reason they don't sue, it's because when ultimately the fat sue, when they lose, oh man, they will be they will go from one day we will not talk about them again. But if they do that and they end up losing, which they would, then we talk about them forever. I would never stop talking about them ever. I would do a catch-up stream on them because why wouldn't I? You know, and these people tried to, again, they have done some awful things, awful, and they know it. They've tried to irreparably harm people's reputations. Again, when you go out, you notice they won't talk about that shit anymore because they know how bad it was. They won't talk about the fact that, again, they said that, like for me, that I tried to groom my child to marry via therapy, which is absolutely insane. I even had my ex talk about that, which is something, again, all these people tried to get her to do interviews. She also, you know, as much as they deny trying to go in and do this kind of stuff, they mentioned early on, I found where they talked about how they wanted to get in contact with her. So when they say this kind of stuff, like, we don't make they talked about, they tried to set that in motion where other people would. Well, we'd love to talk to her. We'd love to do that. But over a year's time, I found a half a dozen plus mentions of that kind of stuff. And again, it caused people like Leslie and more to pick it up. And again, I'm not trying to belabor the point to bring it up repeatedly. I'm just like, you've got to be an idiot to talk about lawsuits when you've done things like that. But we're going to pretend that we didn't do that, right? I think that's where we're at. We're pretending, because pretend time is fun. My God, though. I mean, again, they could be making money for whatever, but they want to try to make money like that because they hope that people will give enough money. They actually, I guess they're believing their own hype when they say that Jeremy Hales pops off litigation to make money. That is not a money-making method. You know, even with, I figured what they would do is try to pretend to be pro se and have one of these idiots helping them file stuff. But the problem with that, of course, is there are methods that you can deal with that too. But I digress. You'd find that out later on. But anyway, they tell their audience to donate to help them fight against the criminals who are breaking the law. When there is no criminal breaking the law. When there is no criminal breaking the law. Really? Because I'm going to say that the protective order, for example, that's criminality. Yeah. People that are filing false lawsuits, like you talk about false lawsuit, right? But the false lawsuit that came up that Michelle Preston was part of, you consider that to be criminal? Because, I mean, a court said straight up, hey, this was a lawsuit that they never even intended to show up for. So they have ever sued where there is no criminal breaking the law they have ever sued, nor could they when it is at the discretion of the state prosecutor. Wait, what? What in the world? Are you trying to say, oh, he couldn't get somebody called a criminal because the state prosecutor gets to say? And he would never get the state prosecutor to indict any of these horrible people. By the way, maybe you should look at the records of some of these folks around there. But to date, they received $36,721. Yeah, I always look and make sure the total is right there of donations from their GoFundMe. This is believed to be there's believed to be a substantial amount of donations they received during live streams too, as one donor donated over $50,000 for their THERE legal expenses. Now this again, that is a discussion of only me. So yet again, they have taking the only me stuff that, you know, talk about this behavior where we've seen people blame Jeremy Hales or blame other folks for the exact same things. that other folks have done, right? Well, that's what we're seeing right here. $50,000. Wait a minute. That's not actually him. That's something that somebody else had happen. I request this be investigated, as there are many Florida victims who have been targeted for donations in result of this scheme. Many have donated under the guise that the legal fees were true. I mean, this stuff is going to damn well pop up in a court. Michael needs to cut off your fucking internet, you crazy, crazy weirdo. I cannot believe you. It's not just that if you filed these things on its own, that would be bad enough. But you're plastering these all over online, trying to do it through sock accounts. But again, you'd be the only person that would have access to it. Like nobody else would have this stuff to be able to post it. So how dumb are you? Really? Oh, there's random people posting the thing that only I have. Wait, really? How does that work, Leslie? Come on, man. I know you think that the world is stupid, but my Lord, people are operating on a few more brain cells than apparently than you are right now. My God. Let's see. More witnesses can be provided upon request. You like that too? There's another one, by the way. This isn't the only one. All right. So there's another one. Let's see. Where is it? Give me a second. So we have the FTC as well. There's a complaint to the FTC. Let me make sure when I look at this too, that I don't think I've looked at an FTC report before. Most people don't file to the FTC, but she did. This loony person absolutely did. So this is an FTC report I'm pulling up for you. Again, yet another false report. My Lord. So, oh my God, folks. This kind of stuff. See, what you're witnessing here is an attempt at life ruinous behavior. These folks, they don't stop. They're hoping that over time, see, and it does work, by the way. Audiences, they tire of the madness and they will turn the page. And that, I understand that, but at the same time, they want that to happen. They want people not to support the folks that, they're trying to bury. And one of the things I would really like to say, and I think would happen, like Hale hasn't really been fixated or focusing on these people. He's kind of left them to their own devices. And you notice they've been escalating into crazier and crazier shit. Like I said, they would. If they're ignored, what do? Well, they're talking about as their numbers dwindle, they start becoming more extreme. It's not just in claims. I mean, you look at this stuff, but on top of that, they start asking for money to prop up, garbage litigation. Just anything to hinder, to do harm. I mean, it's so dumb. And they're, again, when you listen to what they say that they were going to sue people over, it's absolute garbage. Now, they talked about FOIA. Well, you can only have FOIA for X, Y, and Z. Maybe you should talk to real attorneys. Maybe you should stop talking to people that that give you terrible advice. But anyway, let's look at the FTC report. This one was also filed by Leslie. What was let me see if this has a date on it. Give me 1 second. I want to see if there's a date. Like, this is unhinged behavior, though. So this was filed on 6/4. Okay, just to note. So this is the next day. So after we saw the other reports, this one comes after that. This is from 6/4. Consumer report to the FTC. The FTC cannot resolve individual complaints, but we can provide information about the next steps to take. We share your reports with local, state, federal, and foreign law enforcement partners. I'm to the point that I wonder if I should be making, actually, I'm going to let my lawyer deal with this person, but I get to the point where I think, man, maybe they need to be reported to some of these authorities. It just shows you again, like this has nothing to do with Leslie's just trying to find an outlet. You know why she's doing it this way too? Again, it's not just revenge because people had they went out and they sued after she sued us. By the way, we didn't sue her first. We sued her for, like, for myself and Megan, for example, which she's talking about firing up these lawsuits again. We've already won on merits. She said, oh, that hasn't been decided. Oh, yes, it is adjudicated on the merits. If you look, she has done the same thing twice. She went in, she added us with a lawsuit. She voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit against us. Then she added us again and then voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit against us yet again. Now, in that means that we have adjudication on the merits. That means we won. We didn't just win because it dropped off. No, we actually won. So you're going to threaten publicly to say that you're going to do it again to us? By the way, Leslie, I saw somebody posted your ticket issue. You better pay that ticket before you lose your license forever, man. You need to pay that stuff. That's not good. So what happened? There is an owner who has been business. What? There is an owner who has been business. We're off to a good start right now, right? This sounds terrible. What have you done, Jeremy? Did you hijack the English language? What's happened, man? I mean, she seems to be really confused because there's an owner that's been business and operates a YouTube channel and GoFundMe. Wait, what? So Jeremy Hales now, again, Jeremy is a owner, not an owner, a owner that has been business and operates not only a YouTube channel, but a GoFundMe. As we've stated before, he doesn't control the GoFundMe. It was operated by another person. They opened it up, where he makes false statements about being involved in legal disputes, in need of help with his legal fees of over $500,000. What does that mean? I'm going to read this whole sentence to you. Listen to this madness. Again, sent out. Here, I'm going to blow that up a little bit better for you. I can't blow it up anymore. Well, actually, crap. There it goes. Oh, it's so, oh, man. I wish I could shrink this a little bit more. No, I guess I need it. Let me see if I can lock this in a little bit better, because this one's a little smaller than the other one. I guess I could go that way, I suppose. Listen to this sentence again. This is such a mess. There is a owner who has been business and operates a YouTube channel and GoFundMe where he makes false statements about being involved in legal dispute in need of help with his legal fees of over $500,000. What in the world does that mean? Somebody translate this for me, because all I hear is stupid, 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 stupid. Where he makes false statements of being involved in legal disputes. No, he's 100% involved in legal disputes, you know? And then it just spawns in need of help with legal fees of over $500K. What does that even mean? During his live stream on his YouTube channel, What the Hales. During his live streams, he reports weekly and monthly his false amounts in legal fees. What? He reports weekly and monthly. What in the world? If he's reporting weekly, if I'm reporting weekly, you don't add monthly. Weekly, and that would mean I report every week, right? So if I'm reporting monthly, that means I'm going 12 times, right? If I'm reporting weekly, that means I'm going 2 times? Yeah, that's right. I'm tired, but I'm not that tired yet. I mean, God, this is like, it is like a sensei threw up on this page. The idiot types, oh, what is going on? But he tells his audience he is suing to take down criminals and holds live stream auctions where, while claiming the proceeds will go to helping him with his legal fees. What? That is all one sentence, by the way. And listen to this all together. During his live streams, it's 2 words, live streams on his YouTube channel, What the Hales, he reports weekly and monthly his false amounts in legal fees, tells his audience he is suing to take down criminals, and holds live stream auctions while claiming the proceeds will go to help him with his legal fees. Wait, you're talking about the auctions? Proceeds will go? Again, that's all that says. That whole sentence there is complaining, saying if we took it at its word, he streams, I'm going to say weekly because the monthly is stupid. He streams weekly, talks to his audience, says he's suing to take down criminals. He has auctions, and those auctions, he says, well, those are the proceeds go to helping me pay my legal fees. Not they 100% go to my legal fees or anything like that, but they go to helping with that, which, yeah, I would say that that's probably a legitimate statement, right? And wouldn't you? I would think that the money that he is raising would go for that. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. I love this stuff. It's so nuts. Example, over the last year, he has held notes up where he writes down his legal fees and states to his audience different figures, where 1 week he will say he is paid out of pocket $480,500, and the following week the figure will change to $436,500. Oh my God. You mean he could have potentially made a mistake with one of his and noted in a live stream a discrepancy in amounts? Holy crap. You mean like you've made discrepancies in this written document? I feel like you have, honestly, I think somebody should arrest you for violating the English language here. It's got to feel pretty awful after you touched it and it's no place here. I mean, the English language has been butchered by you. Good Lord. Example, I swear, making it easy to see his false statements of inconsistency. That is a sentence by itself. Look at this. That is so weird. So she says this and then notes, making it easy to see his false statements is consistent. Whoops, sorry, I hit that link. Let me go back. My bad. Those are live links when you hit them, as you notice. Let me reset this. Sorry, it'll take a second. I have to reset the image. It confused me on my cursor. My cursor went nuts. Give me 1 minute here. I swear, though, I mean, this is absolutely insane stuff. All right, let's continue. Oh my God. Additionally, he initiated a GoFundMe. He initiated now. So in in reports, depending on who she's reporting to, sometimes it's his, sometimes it's done by other people. But when she writes this out, she damn well knows that she's reporting this falsely, because she knows that the GoFundMe is not Jeremy Hale's. How does she know that? Well, this is the latest statement, by the way. Leslie, I don't know what your problem is. Honestly, I don't know if this is a mental health problem or what, but you need somebody in your life that will fucking be like, yo, you need to stop. You're going to end up in jail doing this dumb shit. You are. You lost quite a bit the last time that you played. You know, you lost your license to garbage. And you're still going. You still target people. That's why we sued you, because we knew you would never stop. We knew it. I mean, you made it very clear that you'll pop up whenever you want. You'll blame people because of, I don't know, the voices in your head. I'm not sure exactly what the fuck triggers you sometimes, but you'll come back in and you'll start blaming people for things that you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, for example, the school thing. The school thing comes out of the blue. You're like, what is this woman talking about? You know? She ends up getting fired. And it's all of our faults. We supposedly shut down a school. And again, you know, and then after that, remember the obituary thing. The obituary thing. Can you imagine being one of her friends and her pulling that? Like here's either her pals there were complicit in that and they lied publicly, stating that, you know, oh, these other people did it, so they were either complicit and they knew that that she was going to do that, or she made all of them think that she had died. You know, when that stuff came up at first, it's funny. The first person, I don't remember who noticed it first. I think I do, but I'm not going to put your name out there, right? But when it was noted publicly, it had actually been seen for, I think, a week. And when we saw that, we looked at it rationally and said, wait a minute, there's not a reporting agency here. You know, there's not a funeral home or something. This is just on some board that's out there. You know, it didn't link to anything. So anybody could have put that out. So none, you know, like myself or Megan, yeah, we saw it. We saw that she created it, but we didn't talk about it because we knew it was some kind of weird ploy. I figured it was a, oh my God, look what they're doing ploy. So I just let it sit, you know, just to see what happened. And a week went by. And after that, somebody noticed it, and which is not anybody notices it. If they asked, what was bad is people asked, oh my God, is this real? And she, of course, went flying into the victim spiral. Yeah, so they did this to me. And then it turned out that she created fake obituaries. So, I mean, it's so nuts. But anyway, so additionally, he created a GoFundMe where he claims to owe $539,700 out of pocket for legal fees and needs donations to, quote unquote, take down the criminals. You like that? She went back to the quote twice now. Take down the criminals. Take down the criminals. To date, he received $36,720 from donors. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Look at how donors is spelled. It's spelled like boners. You know, look at this. It's DONERs, like boners. What in the world, you crazy fool? Oh my God. Oh Lord, how is this real? You received it from, I mean, yes, this is a person that they represented people in courtrooms. I wonder how many people they represented that actually got to keep their kids or whatever. See, that's one of the problems with some of these types of cases people cover. You can't find out what their success rate actually was. They can lie about it, and they can tell you all of this, crazy garbage. Like, she was telling people that she had been involved in 250 trials, not cases, trials. Like, that was one of her last statements. She had been involved in 250 trials. It's like, man, I would love to see evidence of that. But one of the problems with that type of lawyer, again, when people are covering guardianship, when they're doing a lot of that stuff is sealed. So you don't get to see. You do get to see when they mess up and they get in trouble, but you don't get to see what exactly has been transpiring. A bunch of donor boners. He has intentionally filed meritless lawsuits to make his scheme look believable. Look at this fucking insanity that she claims. He has intentionally filed meritless lawsuits to make his scheme look believable. How stupid is that of a statement? So you're saying that he filed a lawsuit just to get money? If he was going to do that, he would do your approach, Leslie. He would file a lawsuit and he wouldn't move forward. He would just let the lawsuit sit. I mean, that would be how, that stuff would to go. Because otherwise, you spend a lot of money, right? I mean, can you imagine filing lawsuits like this and thinking you're going to make money? You've seen I can tell you, just looking at the costs that any lawyer, Randy is not on the upper echelon of costs. I mean, he's not a cheap lawyer by any stretch of the imagination. That's what I'm saying. But he's not the most expensive lawyer you can get either, So when you look at that, for them to say, when she was quoting, the reason I say that is because she was quoting like an insane number, $750 an hour from some lawyer out there, right? And saying somebody had racked up $180K. Well, Jeremy, he racked up these costs because, again, he's not letting something just sit there. He's actually moving forward with litigation. It amazes me. Again, these people, they are nuts if they think that they can claim that you make money off of lawsuits. You don't make money filing lawsuits and moving forward. Maybe you could make money, maybe, if you filed and you never went forward. You could probably do that maybe once, twice, maybe that would work. But you can't make money. Like you saw the service stuff. There's no way you can make money doing that. Not unless, I guess maybe you could if you were rolling in the big bucks, but $36,000 goes real fast. You could burn $36,000 out of really one case. However, so they said he's intentionally filed meritless lawsuits to make his scheme look believable. However, his lawsuits were dismissed in the beginning stages with prejudice and were found to be meritless. So this makes it sound like every lawsuit he has ever filed has been dismissed and it's been called meritless. Again, Leslie is putting not just herself, she's also, this is what I don't get, Michael. I don't get how you allow yourself to be put in this level of jeopardy. Because this kind of stuff, man, this is the kind of stuff that will cripple you if you are not careful. He works in collaboration with his girlfriend on his channel and the help from his attorney, who also in benefiting from the what? Here's yet another problem. Look, he works in collaboration with his girlfriend on his channel and the help from his attorney, who also in benefiting from his schemes, from this scheme financially. What the fuck? Oh, Lord, that sentence made my head hurt. Just really, that was very choppy. Lord. I feel like I fell in the ocean or something just then. URLs to live streams with timestamps from his soliciting donations under false pretenses. Again, here, she's intentionally done this stuff, by the way, because you'll notice here, she does the $1 million thing again. So it wasn't a mistake that she did one time, and she was like, whoops, I mistakenly somehow I didn't listen to the 5 seconds before and notice it was a $500,000. No. It's $1 million. And then she is latched onto this as part of a narrative. God, I mean, again, these people have the audacity to say that they are somehow victims. That people, when they talk about them, like Leslie, again, she has the audacity to tell people that she's just some poor private citizen out there, not a limited purpose public figure, not a public figure. Although she tells you at the same time she was the greatest lawyer ever. By the way, Leslie, you know what else I have? You know what I have, Leslie? Since you're listening, here, let me read you a title, okay? I want you to hear this. Give me 1 second. Oh, I gotta find it. Just give me a second here, because I got something that you did, that you put up and then you ghosted. But it came up long enough. It came up December the 5th, 2025, under your name, Anna. It came up for just a few minutes. It was you writing. This is a title I'm going to, I've never brought this one up because she doesn't, I think this is a good time to note it. She doesn't realize she published this thing, okay? She published, quote, Megan Fox writers, unethical journalism under investigation for the illegal distribution of revenge porn obtained from, and she notes her parents' names, who obtained sexual content illegally. She wrote an article entitled that. Like, no joke, man. She wrote that in December. And it ended up going public for a hot minute. That's right, Leslie. We saw your article there. Apparently you caught it and were like, oh, I shouldn't publish that. You did. And that is a real problem, Leslie. It's that kind of stuff. Again, listen to that title. It's got picture. I don't even want to put it on the screen because it's so gross. She wrote too. This is what she wrote on that. Journalism Ethics Review reports that Megan, they use her whole name, Fox, aka Megan Fox, author, Megan Fox, writer, Megan Fox investigation, is now under investigation for creating a fake journalism scheme to lure victims and stalk women. She wrote this and it published out there. Recently, she targeted female Leslie Federigos in an orchestrated attack to ruin her professional teaching license with the state of Florida. She obtained stolen sexual content from, she notes, her parents there, who previously stalked Leslie Federigos. So she includes her parents as stalkers, by the way. That's right. She notes them as stalkers in this little chapter in December. Additionally, Megan Fox, who holds no formal education nor works for any reputable journalism entity, schemed with said parents. She puts their whole names in there. She notes where they're from to illegally publish sexually explicit material stolen from Leslie Federigos. FBI has opened an investigation into the illegal distribution of stolen sexual material Megan Fox obtained from her parents. She knows both their names. Investigation ongoing. Subscribe for updates. She wrote this out here. I'm looking at it right here. Holy crap, lady. Yeah. You don't think anybody caught that when you did it? You don't think we caught you writing that? You nut job. Yep. It's what's funny about it is you also, so she's using right now a specific email address. And that email address ties into the HTTP, the address there. So it ties in. We caught the not just the imagery, but we also caught the URL. Whoopsie. So yeah, we have that, Leslie. Whoops. I mean, like I said, she's been flagrant out there doing stuff like that, making claims like that. Her lawyer husband, you would think he would sit down and be like, yo, this is stupid. I mean, again, no, he was out there like just going along with all of the stuff too. He is complicit in this as well. I've got to sit down and do my bar complaint. I do. I've got to. After the stuff he pulled while we were in litigation, after this kind of stuff, again, I typically do not like doing things like that. But, I mean, they decided they wanted to run with Lisa's garbage. That's fine. You don't think that I kept those live streams, by the way? I've got them. I realized you deleted them. You tried to delete your whole channel after you did so much. But you don't think any of us caught that? You and your hubby sitting around like doing this while we're in litigation. What the hell? You know, she tried to, what's really telling about it too, is she went after Randy in one of her filings, and she said that Randy was doing live streams, which he's not allowed to do because he is counsel. Well, her counsel was doing live streams and saying like people like myself were groomers and all kinds of other shit. He was saying, well, I've never investigated these claims, but here, let me propagate these. So it doesn't matter. Remember, with actual malice, you either knowing, you know that something's false, or you just don't care. And going and repeating potentially life ruinous bullshit that you should investigate as counsel during something, yeah, that doesn't come across as, oh, I heard this. What it comes across is yeah, I'm trying to torch this person's life. And they should absolutely know better. But no. So the stream with the $1 million thing is there. So they're talking about the tie. You can see that one in there. She just throws this all together too. So she throws in another one here. I mean, look at the way she does this. It's just like a glob of, and this one cuts off. I'll notice that she ran out of words. She said the date that it all began was 5/19/2025, by the way. That's the day that everything started. Why that day? Is that the day that, when was the GoFundMe? Now the GoFundMe, here's the question. Okay, if it started 5/19/2025, right? If this so-called scheme started up, then why is the GoFundMe older than that? Like, make that make sense. Because if you look here, check this out, you'll notice in the GoFundMe itself with the update portion. Look, the update portion, an update was put in on August 15th, 2024. So you're talking about something that was created mid-2024, but supposedly the enrichment scheme, it's because she's only wanting to include really one case. You know, she wants to make it sound like that's the only thing out there. I mean, she's trying to be deceptive. But that's I mean, ridiculous. There's another thing too that she threw into this as well. And this stuff is, I mean, it is absolutely nuts. Let me see. Give me a second. I gotta make sure I've got, God, there's so much of this. Lord, give me a minute. There's another one. I gotta find it real fast. I've got, oh, she has a timeline with evidence. Oh, that's sexy. Her complaints are crazy, man. Her timeline with evidence is pretty fun. You want to see a timeline with evidence as her pro se stuff, and we'll really get into lawsuit stuff maybe tomorrow. I think we'll look at her lawsuit and get into the new filing stuff. But check this out. Let's look at some of the thumbnails. I like this because she is yet again reporting something that is not correct. So check this out. This is a timeline with evidence about, look at this. This is one sentence. Shockett has engaged in false legal fees used to fraudulently solicit donations and crowdfunding, attorney and client commingling funds, voluminous, meritless lawsuits filed to harass victims, including myself, that the court dismissed. Including myself that the court dismissed? Wait. You are falsely indicating that a case against yourself, number one, was false, which is bullshit. Number two, has been dismissed. No, the only case with you that was dismissed is your own case that you put together, and it was a garbage lawsuit, and you knew it. And again, she's making threats to file new lawsuits. So again, she's talking about filing a third bite of the apple to come after. Again, Leslie, damages wise, honey, you put together another false freaking thing. If I have to go into court against you, you people should know better than to think the bankruptcy thing is just going to magically erase everybody's debts too. Like you guys can do anything and then bankruptcy time, baby. No. File some garbage, another one. After all this stuff, good God. No court is going to look at what these people are doing and think, yeah, they're not crazy. They're not acting like nuts. But supporting client publicly making fun of judges, a client has the ability to make fun of a judge. A client can make fun of whoever the fuck they want to. Randy Shockett is not supporting that notion. Look, a lawyer can tell me not to do something. Now, I'm not saying he has or has not done that. I don't know what his communication between Jeremy Hales looks like. You know? I have no idea. But one thing I would not think is that Randy Shockett would want him to lose his ability to, I don't know, practice free speech. But to say that a client can't make, you notice how she words this, because the client has every right to make fun of whomever they want. They are not bound by any professional standard. So to, to say that, oh, me, like, oh, Tug, like he was laughing at a judge. How dare he? No, I can't. I absolutely get to. And remember with the grudge judge, I mean, he got removed because they still bring up the grudge judge. Like, oh, poor grudge judge. And it's like, well, wait a minute. He actually did get removed for wrongdoing. So sorry about your luck with that. But adversarial lawyers and adversarial parties, including myself during litigation, dishonesty to the tribunal during litigation while dealing with me as a what in the fuck does this mean? Dishonesty to the tribunal. Here, I'm going to give this to, give me 1 second, okay? I'm going to give this to AI, and maybe it can tell me like what kind of, I don't know, what kind of chalk you have to eat to start thinking that this is, oh my God, let's see. Okay, I'm giving it. Here's what that's funny. Oh my God. This is what ChatGPT thinks. This is 33 pages of, I watched YouTube and now I'm the FBI. The funniest parts. Page 3 or part 3 on page 1 with no clear part 1 or part 2 energy. It starts like a legal brief got into a bar fight with a Facebook rant. They accuse someone of, quote unquote, attorney and client commingling funds. Then the evidence is basically, here is a GoFundMe and YouTube timestamps. That is not a smoking gun. That is a smoke machine from Spirit Halloween. It's hilarious. Page 4 and 6 is just dramatic legal fee bingo cards. Like 960,000, 360, 390, 1 million. Pick a number, any number. It reads like The Price is Right, litigation edition. Then page 8 says the fee amount is impossible because cases were dismissed early. That's a huge leap. Bad lawsuits still cost stupid money. Lawyers do not charge based on whether the filing was emotionally satisfying. That's right. You lose, you pay. You win, you pay. The people who win in lawsuits, lawyers win. They always win. And I'm not saying that is a negative thing. You just have to realize that win or lose, the lawyers still win. So choose wisely. But the thumbnail page is the best, it says. They submit YouTube thumbnails as if the bar or the court is supposed to grasp and say, my God, yellow text with stroke outline. This changes everything. Pages 20 through 31 are basically Pinterest board titled evidence, but make it deranged. Also, quote, his client made false reports about the status of the legal case, unquote. While this thing itself is full of weird formatting, missing words, typos. One second, I can clear my throat. All right, there we go. Broken OCD-looking text and sentences that wander off like they saw a squirrel. The best mock line here was local PDF accuses YouTube thumbnails of Rico. It's so dumb. All right, let's look at this here. So facts. False legal fees used to solicit donations from Florida victims. We saw all that. Remember? We saw this. So I'm not going to retread that. But look. So here, they note, announces Randy Shockett Esquire gift action off for profit of fabricating legal fee. What does that mean? Gift action off for profit. What? What does that say? Gift action offer. I don't even know what that's supposed to say. But, okay, so this isn't Randy's a guest. That's stupid. He's not on that live stream. And they know that because they go through and look at them. None of these have Randy on that. It talks about his outstanding motions. In fact, this is the same one. No, wait, it's not. It's the same. Wait, yeah, it's two different thumbnails. So it's continuing, I suppose. And then here's another with the anti-slap. Then here's outstanding motion. This is evidence of Randy Shockett involvement with client's YouTube channel that he used to harass me with during litigation. This isn't his channel. This is a different channel. Oh my God, they're taking Coop's channel. She is, and saying that this is evidence that Shockett is involved with the client's YouTube channel. But read this. Evidence of attorney Shockett involvement with client's YouTube channel that he used to harass me with during litigation. During this live stream, he speaks in detail about the case while receiving donations, it critical of the judge. What? You do realize this is, this stuff right here is Mr. Coop, right? You batshit loony weirdo. This is not Jeremy Hales. This is not Randy Shockett. This is you lying and saying that it's both. Oh my God. Again, this is Mr. Coop. Oh, Lord. Please review this YouTube video of Randall Shochet, Doreen, and Mark Feather openly discussing their client's case. The same client that has harassed me during litigation by use of his YouTube channel while receiving donations. Oh my God. These attorneys speak against a judge discussing being friends with their client. Oh my God. They're friends with a client? You know, there's no rule about me being a friend with an attorney. Oftentimes, a friend would be motivated to save my ass. You know, it takes it even further than them just being my attorney. And again, it makes it maybe seem worthwhile endeavor if they go out and they save me from something terrible. Good God, this is nuts. Holy Lord, guys. You got to admit, this stuff is nuts, right? All right, so let's see. There's the live. They're talking, oh my God, look. I'm so glad you all got to meet in person. You all are very loving, good people. Oh no, somebody said that they're loving. Holy God, what monsters. Misconduct. A lawyer shall not engage in conduct in connection with the practice of law that is prejudicial to the administration of justice, including to knowingly or through callous indifference disparage, humiliate, or discriminate against litigants. Oh, wow. You mean like your husband did when he said that I groomed a child to marry? You talking about that? Like I said, right here. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll put this in as you notice it. You know, as you know that this is bad. So just to make it clear, you understand that what you guys were doing there when you were trying to fuck around with my life, as I have kids. Again, you know, they also stupidly, they left it up for a bit, you know, like a few days. Then they tried to edit it down. But even when they edited the statements down, they left in part of the statements still. I kept both of those, by the way. I kept the live stream at both times because man, the kids are away. So if you hear my phone, I plugged it in, but you can hear it. That's because I can't mute it out today. I'm leaving it on in case they call. They need something, you know. But discriminating against litigants, jurors, witnesses, court personnel, lawyers. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Crowdfunding fraud by use of GoFundMe. Again, so she goes into the to the $1 million. Look, there's the $960,000. She also lies and says that he's telling an audience of 60,000. That's views again, not the audience size. It's so dumb. So deceptive. So she lied about the she lies about it. You notice she put in legal fees. And he said, like I played before, it was $960,000, but he noted that it was for property, and he noted $1 million. He said it was 9,000, but with fees, it would kick it up to around $1 million. So I think I made that pretty clear. What an idiot. So we go through our, again, we'll skip all that. Look, she lies here about the $1 million thing. I mean, again, she's being intentionally deceptive with this stuff. Like with the $1 million thing. Again, the one that I've shown you, I had somebody note that they thought it was about the tie, that she was trying to point out with the clip. Oh, she's trying to say that he's talking about saying it's $1 million. Even though, again, you rewind for 5 seconds and you hear it's $500,000. She's trying to be purposely deceptive. I mean, what she proves in this stuff is that she lies about these things. Oh, let's see. What does she say in this? In addition to Shockett's clients' live streams soliciting donations for false legal fees, they create a GoFundMe. So again, that she notes that the clients created the GoFundMe. In this, they claim to be out that amount of money. Now, again, they don't control the GoFundMe. So they wouldn't have claimed anything in the GoFundMe. It may quote them, but they did not specifically claim anything in a GoFundMe that they themselves didn't create and don't control. They tell their audience to donate to help them fight against criminals who are breaking the law. Again, in that, the GoFundMe, they don't control what's stated there. So it shows that donations have been frozen. Again, they note all this stuff with it. And what's funny is when you go along, her freak out, Shockett's awareness of extreme cyberbullying, extortion, extrajudicial conduct intended to harass and intimidate adversarial litigants while allowing it to happen and not withdrawing from the case. Oh my God. Why should he jump out? Oh man, look, making fun of judges and opposing counsel. Let's look. Florida court update, Judge Grudge, thrown off case. Okay. He was. Begs for deal. Okay. Insane court update. Lawyer was fired. The nose he's done. Well, he did get fired. So lawyer dropped. Bad lawyers. Oh, well, yep. Or the lawsuit rather dropped. I said lawyer. Lawsuit drop. Yes. The lawsuit ends up getting dropped. That's true. Bad lawyering. Oh yeah. That lawsuit right there was bad. Bad neighbor, bad lawyer, bad cops. Okay. Oh, here's the picture. So that's the thumbnail for that one. Let's see. Example of Shockett's client posts and videos to harass and make fun of me during litigation. Fun fact, Lips has terrorized the people in her life. Lips interjected herself in our lives. Lips will be stopped in court. Lips will pay financially. Lips is mentally unstable. Look at them lips. Will her lips be repossessed in court? Okay. You know what's funny about this is, you know who called Lips? She did. She's forgotten by now, but one of the reasons that Lips came up was not a mockery of her lips. It was actually a mockery of the way that she presented this idea. She had her channel called Hot Lips, Do you all remember that? So she actually was, she's the one that threw that out there. Oh, look. What similarities can you find? Looks like Gollum. 4 failed marriages versus 7. Kids that blocked her. Okay. Stalked and defamed Jeremy Hills. Cries they are the victim. Being sued by Jeremy Hills and others. Losing property and possessions. Okay. You are not obligated to nicety. As has been noted many times, you don't have to say, like saying someone looks like Gollum. That may not be your cup of tea, but it doesn't fucking matter. That of everything is lightweight, especially considering, look at what these people are doing. What amazes me is that these people pretend that you owe them something. You know? I mean, for real. They act like you owe them something through that. Man, this is some amazing stuff to put in their own filings there. Hold up. Wait a minute. Lips, quote unquote, retired from the bar in lieu of discipline. Okay. Lips is in a public position. Lips records are public. Did Lips lie already in question 2 about her application? Why wouldn't Windermere High School in Orange County, Florida vet Lips' answer? There's 70 more pages to go through. So they note, hey, have you ever resigned from a position while you were under investigation or the result of an investigation for misconduct, resigned from a position in lieu of termination, or resigned from a position while you were on probation or a performance improvement plan for any employer? And she checked no. Interesting, right? So you see the difference. What she includes in here. Oh, look, hey, it's me. Hey, check this out. Bombshell news, cease and desist have been sent. Yeah. With guests. Oh, look, it's Mr. Goop. They'll say that's Jeremy, though. We sued update. They're begging the court. Yep, they are. We sued news. She failed big. Okay. What in the name of God happened here? Look at this. What did she do? Look at this. What in the world? You know what's bad is this showcases like manipulation. Like, again, live we sued she F-O ped big in Hell's fails at W ha Hell's C says it looks like her pen had a stroke. Yeah. Look at that terrible Megan, by the way. You kept making these terrible Megans. Oh, look. Anti-Hales to sue us? Man, she should be happy with that. She doesn't even have like large lips in that one. That's beautiful. Oh. They said they were going to sue back when. Oh, look, here's another one. Look, she cut it off. Anti-Hales and nukes themselves. Okay, look at the words again. What is going on, Leslie? Did you not look at this? Holy crap. What happened? I can't believe she filed these. Oh my God. Look at this madness. Oh, that's a great thumbnail right there. Look at that. That is a work of art. You have to admit that is a work of art. You know? I love it. Man, some of these thumbnails are really good. I like that thumbnail. Look at the little sock puppets behind them. That's what those are. The little sock puppets hanging out. I always like Bruce's what the what. What the what? His necklace. I always thought that was funny. You got some Megan. Let's see. Okay, there's Megan. There's some Megan ones. The words came back. Look. They actually came back. How long did she? Okay, so how many pages were they broken? Just a second. Look at that. They just break randomly, too. You got them broken, then it comes back. Then it's broken veg. Spissel. I feel like there's a hidden message in all of this. You know, if you get a decoder ring, you can actually, I don't know, maybe you can speak to God. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask somebody else that's far crazier than me. Oh, Lord. I always thought like I was a bit eccentric until seeing some of this. So here's Vexatious Vixen. Here's Frivolous Frederico's Family Business. Leslie Exposed. Leslie's Terrible, Awful, Not Good, Very Bad Day. I think that's a funny title. The Truth About Legally Lips. The Momo. Oh, look, it broke again. Look, what? Well, the truth about legally what? Bobish. If she tried to swat me and failed. Oh yeah, and she did. By the way, you saw the call in with the police. The stuff she's trying to do. Absolutely. Lawyer sues us and quits. That's true. She did. She sued us, dropped it, sued us again. I mean, it's nuts. Worst lawsuit ever. Oh, Lord. All right. I think I'm done for tonight. I'll probably show you some more stuff tomorrow. Let's hit some super chats. Be done tonight. I went longer than I meant to, but it's been fun. Yeah. Let's see. Give me a second here. So, got Tightline. Thanks for the 5 there. I had a comment, but when I went to type it, I noticed someone had put blue tape on my keyboard and it scared me. Hope it still counts. Yeah, that blue tape is dangerous. So, yeah, even though your comment was ran off, it still counts. So, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. That's hilarious. It had blue tape indeed. I like that. That's really funny. To help the desk, I got 20 cents. I'm going to say from LF. I'm not sure if it didn't have the name with whomever, so I'm going to go with LF. Okay, but it says to help the desk. Yeah, I guess I got a little poundy with the desk earlier. Oh, fun times there, right? It's good stuff. Max, thank you for the super chat there. Thank you, Max. I appreciate you, man. Laura, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Laura. That is awesome of you and much appreciated. Thank you. Cindy also dropped a gifted membership there. Thank you as well. That is much appreciated too. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Hey, that's great. Look at this for Cindy Brown. Says, thanks for 25 months. That's amazing. Thank you. Checking in for the ball game. 4-year-old grandson's first game. Go Salt Dogs. Yes. There you go. Go. Hopefully won. Smoky Cat. Thanks for the 14 months. Keep calling out these lying losers, making us laugh. Thank you. Fun times indeed. Yep. I will, for sure. Well, these are, what's wild about this is these are their public. They posted this stuff. Like she ended up posting all of it herself very, very publicly. So anybody talking about, I mean, again, she put this out there. She wanted people to look at it until you look at it. And then she's like, oh, it's harassment. Same thing. It's typical. I'm sure. Man, Sandy, look at that. 47 months. That is amazing, Sandy. Thank you there. Hey there. Hey there indeed. Appreciate you, Sandy. Very much. Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Jack, thanks for the 20 months there. Fleeces, complete utter slime. Just like Flips. Total nut job. It's crazy listening to these people. Again, they take something and they try the spin to it is unreal sometimes. Like, am I really reading them trying to, like, they spent a whole night going after people like Megan. They said that Megan had been demonetized and more. Then when somebody calls them out on it, they call that harassment, proof they're being harassed. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You did a public stream. People are allowed to comment publicly. People are allowed to say you're lying. Again, so apparently they're the only ones that are allowed to talk about anything. Yet again. And playing the victim on that, it just astounds me. I mean, imagine playing the victim. You spend part of the night pumping the idea, again, that Megan Fox had been demonetized, which was not true, by the way. So you lied about that. Again, you lie about someone else's business. With what reason? Well, probably the same reasons as always, trying to harm businesses yet again. And what happens? You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Somebody tells you that. Being called out for your utter bullshit is apparently harassment, though. Again, like I said, they sue. You know what else will happen when they sue? It will open up everyone to be able to see these cases. That will get a lot more attention. And that actually, I think, will be a glorious thing, because what will happen with it, if they open up some meritless, here's the thing they've not asked themselves. That, what's his name? I think his name was Matt Haas, the Haas guy that went after H3H3. You know what happened to him after he lost the lawsuit? When he filed that lawsuit and he got all of that attention for this crap, trying to remove people's ability to speak, it destroyed his channel. It didn't make him, it destroyed him. Because ultimately, what they tried again is to silence other people. And YouTube has a way of course correcting around that. And the course correction, again, they will get decimated. They will destroy their own channels. They think that numbers have dropped off some. It'll get them, they'll get a temporary boost from doing something. They'll think it'd be a reprieve from their channel going under. But ultimately, litigation drags on a long time. Also, here's another thing too. They love papering other people's cases. What happens when somebody files quite a few filings to note their opinions in one of their cases? And they have to actually respond to all of those. Then what happens? I mean, they have to serve people, though, on top of it, on top of service. They have to go out. They would actually, if it moved forward and progressed, they would have to do all of that stuff too. But if other people have to hire lawyers, again, we all know, unlike these folks who didn't hire lawyers to begin with, we all know how to go forward and to make sure that when we get lawyers, we get our fees back. So when you end up losing, you're not just going to have the money that was there, but when you file a meritless dog shit case against, again, people you have said horrendous things about, what's going to happen is you're going to end up eating tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees you're going to owe, and you're not going to be able to, again, bankruptcy out of that shit. I found some very interesting case law on that very topic. Also, all your little friends, they'll move on. They absolutely will. Certain friends will cycle out. Other ones, they'll move on because the dollary dues won't be there. I mean, you're not talking about something that it'll add a bit of time to them being in litigation, but it won't add time to their channel. It won't add channel health over time. It'll fall off too. It'll be an absolute mess. But they think that's what it's going to work out for them. Adair, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Adair. And it's great to see you, by the way. Appreciate you. I did see that, Max. Thank you. Also, thank you for the super chat, but thank you for pointing that out too. Kelly, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Doug's Dogs. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you. SF, thanks for the 5. If Jeremy Hills could get dinged for this, 2L can too. She had crossed state lines, donations, defrauded viewers. Yeah, again, you know, like I said, when people discuss this, the funny thing is that it will be her own donors that will be quoted in courtrooms. She thinks that's not a problem. She thinks that letters from her own donors, or again, donors filing police reports because they feel defrauded. She doesn't think that's going to be a problem there. Oh my God. That's something. That's pretty dumb. You know, it's pretty dumb. Andre, thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug, just a little extra for the girls or possibly for a favorite bear. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. They actually, what's funny is, you know, the little ones are on their first visit in a minute. You know, now they do talk and stuff. Again, their mom, but they haven't, you know, they haven't had staying with as she was getting herself straightened out. So they're out visiting. They're doing their overnight, and it's funny because the oldest contacted me earlier. It was like, "Hey, Dad, we went to the video game store and send me some money. I need to get a." She has a 3DS, you know, an old Nintendo. You remember the old 3DSs? And she was like, "I found these 2 Ninja Turtle games, and they're only $10 a piece plus this other game." I'm like, "Okay, I guess." Yeah. But it was just good. It was nice to hear from them too, having fun. So it was cute. But it was funny to hear that too. But thank you there. Travis, thanks for the 10. Ain't much, but won a little bit in baseball bets. Is this for Lug and Bug, brother? Hey, thank you, brother. That is awesome of you too. Hey, glad, by the way, you've been on a winning streak there. You know, I hope you are doing good, by the way, my friend. Hope everything's been going okay. I know you were having a lot that was happening. So I hope you're doing okay. I do, man. Appreciate you, brother. Rest in B-Face. Thanks for the 5 there. Happy Friday, Tug. If you have time, you should drop by Jay's People Watch stream when you're finished streaming. I'll see how they are. By the way, yes, people should tune into OJ Bird with People Watch. I'll see if I feel like it. You know, I mean, I don't have the kids today, but I went and dropped them off in Murfreesboro. You know, I had to go and do a visit thing, and there, you know, we had to meet up somewhere, so that's where we ended up meeting up. So I had to drive out, actually meet up, and I'll have to drive out probably and pick up on a Sunday. I'll have to see how that impacts stuff too. You know, I'm not sure how Sunday will line up yet either, but we'll see. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see. I'm just like, oh, I'm tired. This has been a fun laugh though. I appreciate that. Like I said, I wasn't even going to like live stream tonight, but then all this stuff came in and I was like, oh my God, something else really funny happened, but I can't talk about it yet. It's a sad thing too. What do you think's the 5? What do you think is going to happen in the Bruce DUI case? I think it's going to slog forward. It will be very slow. I mean, right now, again, Bruce has a problem of, he says that I've never been in trouble or this or that. Well, he's had some issues. I think it'll be, like I said, I think it'll be a slog. But I think ultimately, Bruce is in for a problem. You know, Bruce also doesn't get that he keeps playing this way. Man, what keeps Larry from coming after him? You know? I mean, he thought that was a great idea. Larry could very well come after him too. He made some pretty interesting statements with regard to Larry while he was posting and more. I wonder if he's ever thought about that. That Larry could also, again, one of the things, with that, like if he motivates Larry, see, a lot of times, like these people, they aren't at first motivated to go after. This is the whole issue that they run into. Oftentimes people at the beginning, they just, after a while, like Larry walked away from these folks. He was doing his own thing. And what happens? Well, they end up throwing litigation his way. Larry is just minding his own business, covering something else, and they harass him back in. That's what I keep saying, man. These folks, if you stop talking about them, they escalate. They do crazy shit. They have to, because otherwise, what else can they do? Unfortunately, Jeremy Hales is caught in this weird catch-22, where if he talks about them, it doesn't do anything for him. It's damaging. And if he doesn't talk about them, well, they keep aiming at him and trying to do damage. No court entity has helped as of yet. The costs they keep incurring, and they have done real damage. They managed to do it. They managed to really hurt his fucking channel. So if you think like damage wasn't done, no success happened. Oh, they managed it. They definitely managed it. That's what intrigues me about this case too. These folks actually did manage to do what they said they were going to do. And there has been, so far, there has been nothing is up the guy out. Ultimately, the cases like where he's won stuff. Well, I shouldn't say no one. You did have Ohio find in his favor and give him some violations, but really, what do those do for you? Like, does it stop any behavior? No. Protective orders are barely worth the paper they're printed on. They suck. They don't help you at all. They definitely, like when somebody goes in and they do damage to you, they do like reputational harm and more. You know what happens? You end up eating the reputational harm. It's your problem. I'm just to the point, man. Yeah, so I hate the court system so much. After seeing some of this stuff, like, again, seeing it play out with other people, but also seeing some of that myself. And, like, I just, like, seeing how they treat victims is a crazy, crazy, fucked up thing. Like, again, Jeremy Hales, he was a victim in the eyes of the law. He was a victim of crime. And Levy County, they plotted to put him away, in my opinion. They definitely, you can see them conspiring, to not enforce his protective order, which they went as far as to go and testify on behalf of another person, and not enforce protective. I've never seen some bumpkin fucking law enforcement like that. It's unreal. Anyway, Jack Mom, thank you for the gifted membership. God, I said super chat. Man, my brain is tired. I'm gonna have to finish it. Sorry. Thank you, Jack's Mom. I appreciate that out of you. Becky, thanks for the 5. It is amazing how much the lips protest all this garbage. I believe they'll protest too much. It's just amazingly stupid thing that this will fly. What she's done, again, this is the epitome of harassment. These people claim that they're being victimized, while they attack. Again, it reminds me of bullies that like grab you by the arm and grab, your fist. I remember being a kid and like some bully ass, like grab your own fist and hit you with it or something and be like, why are you punching yourself? Why are you punching yourself? It reminds me of that. Them over and over again, acting like you somehow are perpetrating some kind of injustice against them. And it amazes me. It absolutely freaking amazes me to see. Hey, what's up, Hale? Thank you for the 2 months there. No statement, plenty of statement there. Thank you for your backing. Appreciate that. Cynic, thanks for the 5. H3H3 once again sets copyright precedents. That's right. Just not in the way it hoped. Indeed. I'm tempted to donate a bit to the Flander Records self, but she doxes. Yes, that's the problem. She's a doxa. That's right. She absolutely does dox people. That's one of the things that keeps a lot of people, I think, from donating and buying, is that when she's been mad, she's gone after people and noted who they are. And she claims she doesn't do that, of course, but it's happened publicly. That's one of the things. Like, again, if you back my channel, like you picked up a comic book or anything, I have had people that bought comic books do crazy shit in the aftermath. I don't mention who they are by their name or their address, none of that stuff, because you can't do that. It hurts your business. If you were to turn that over to law enforcement, that's different. But the way these people do it, I mean, they treat it like that information fuels personal grudge matches. And it's wild to watch. But yeah, I hear you. You Poindexter, thanks for the 10. I wonder if these people think they're vampire. The ability to see their own reflection seems to be gone. That's true. That is absolutely true. And Travis, thanks for the 32. Thank you, brother. Dad seems to be slowly dying after his cancer treatment, but I'm good. And I'm trying to make ranch deals to get shit on track. But hey, make it work for Mom. Well, again, when you're dealing with that stuff, dude, that's rough. Like I said, I watched my stepfather, whom I loved very much. I watched him slowly die. We were trying to stave off the inevitable, and he was dying, and we knew it. And while we were doing that, man, it doesn't lessen it any. People oftentimes will say, like, if something's coming and it comes quickly, it catches you off guard, like, that's the worst. I don't know, because I think sometimes watching and feeling hopeless, it's rough too. But I hope, man, you take time, again, you got to take some time for yourself during these extreme times. And also, make sure, one of the things that I guess was the most valuable to me during that time was the fact that I got to say the things that I needed to say. Tell his name was Wayne, by the way. So I got to tell Wayne, that I looked at him as a father, and I loved him, and I appreciated him, and I would do anything. I would do absolutely anything, to try to help him. And it was good to be able to say those things, and it does suck though. I mean, it does. Losing a person. I don't think there's an easier way that it happens. But man, a lot of the struggle, brother, like I said, take time, enjoy things too. Because we don't get our repeat on our time that we exhaust while we're doing that either. Like the stress and everything else. So, but yeah, man, I don't know. I look back on that stuff, and that reminds me too, when the Fats talk about they don't dox and they don't go through people's stuff. Yeah, they dug through. Remember, they talked about things like, again, my ex's history, all of that. Oh yeah, well, you didn't find that just laying out there. Also bankruptcies, other stuff again. They absolutely went through. Remember the background checks that these people bragged about? The ones they did on Hales. Again, they act like nobody should be able to look at who and what they are and stuff that they've done, or to talk. Again, they made it very clear with Tammy that they think they can't even be discussed because reasons. And it's so dumb. All these people are like that. They think that they can talk they can say anything they want about other folks, but those folks can never ever say anything in response, or else it's fucking just weirdos, man. All right, let me see. Let me check and see if there's anything else, and then we will be done. I know we went a while. Yeah. All right. But anyway, I'm going to end here. I appreciate you folks, and we will see you. Wait. Oh, I saw something else come in. Oh, look at that, Travis. Thank you, brother. I can't sell that. I'm glad I caught that before, because, you know, I wanted to. I'm drinking more. My dad knows I love him, but my brain also goes to Mom, the ranch, brother. But I don't want to mess up with the stress and physical labor of cattle. Yeah, you got to know where you can handle. See if there is another way, see if there is another way of making things work. You know what I mean, man? Like and when you go through that, see if there's another approach. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you, man. And again, if you need anything, just reach out, man. It may take me a few days to get back because of everything that's been going on. But, man, I do appreciate you. All right, folks. You can go watch People Watch. I'm going to end here. Thank you, folks.